Hello, love wrestling. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It's another new episode of Between Two Beards.
Can we start off with the biggest news of the week? The Rats lost! If you've got the budget, I've got the time.
There he is.
Hey, boss!
There's the boss.
Hey! The man with the finest beard on this screen. Canadian men, boys, shut the hell up. Let me talk.
You see, the Rads are resourceful. When I got beef with somebody, I can find a way to talk to them.
Hello, love wrestling. It is 8 p.m. It is Thursday night, and y'all know what that means by now.
Nope, I don't know. I'm still confused. Tell me what it means. I don't know yet.
It is another episode of Between Two Beards. Plug
well,
hopefully by now.
There's
been 155 of these bad boys.
No, it might be the heat stroke. It might be the heat stroke.
It is that time. It is that time.
I am hot. I am sweaty. I am sticky, but I am here.
I love it.
With a new name,
doing, buddy. How we doing this week? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good this week, man.
I'm feeling good. I'm surprised you went with the plug-a-later. I felt like you were kind of not. You were on the fence with that one a little bit.
When the deathmatch queen herself, the hardcore legend Lufisto, dubs you the plug-a-later, you run with it for a little bit.
You have to.
I hopped on our charity stream with Zach and Lawrence, Blair, and Mike. We did a charity stream to raise money for Lufisto's medical expenses on Saturday. She was in the chat, got to talk to a legend in the game. Absolute honor. She called me the plug-a-later. I blame Ryan Sullivan, that bum, but that's okay. So we're going to run with it, at least for tonight. I'm going to give it tonight. We'll see how it goes. If the Mark Order pod's in here talking trash, we'll boot him, but that's okay.
Right. We already got our friends. We got Claudio, Scott. We got the boss. Spencer in the chat saying hello.
Hey.
We got a big guest that we're excited to have here. We're gonna be bringing him on momentarily here.
I rushed home to this. I was like, I gotta go Little League. Peace.
Yeah, you still play Little League, bro?
Yeah, dude, I was hitting dingers.
You're like 35, man. No, I would hope you're playing dingers. I would hope you're hitting dingers if you're playing Little League, bro.
Before we bring the guest on, full shoot. They were setting the pitching machine up because it's pitching machine still.
Is it? They don't even have the coaches doing underhand or anything.
You advance up. Anyway, and I was like, let me get one. And of course, my assistant coach was like, everybody back up. And I was like, I'm not getting this thing out of the infield. What are you talking about? I took 3 swings, felt like I pulled something, hit a nice liner down the third base line, and said, I'm good.
Fair. You show those kids who's boss. Claudio, yes, there is even gonna be more bearded sexiness on this screen in a quick moment.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
Pluggo, why don't you start talking our guest up, introduce our guest, and then we'll throw him on here.
It does so happen that this guest has a beard. Good call.
It's true.
So I don't know if anybody else is like me. Do you want me to pull it up? I can do. This is how we do it now. We just go on the
right number.
Why don't you hit the buttons, but I'll announce because I don't actually know where it's at. But if you're like me and you aimlessly scroll wrestling TikTok and you're just zipping through take after take after take, I stumbled across this gentleman His name is Alex. He's from Wrestling and Coffe. You've probably seen him. He has really killer takes. Here's one, so you might have seen him before, and then we'll bring him on right after.
Yeah.
Hello, my friends in wrestling. Tell me you don't watch AEW and just repeat things you hear on the internet without telling me you don't watch AEW and just repeat things you hear on the internet. Hello, my friend.
My favorite thing, but without further ado, from Wrestling and Coffe, this is Alex.
Hey,
What's up?
What's going on? Glad to have you, my friend. Welcome in. How are you doing this evening?
Thanks for having me. Good.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited. I had actually been seeing a ton of your videos, actually, or a good amount of them when Pluggo was like, hey, we're going to have this guy on. And I was like, hell yeah, that's a lot of fun.
I didn't even tell him beforehand. I just said, we're doing this. And he goes, okay.
No. He's got my full trust. I trust him. But yeah, we're excited to have you on. We're going to be talking some King of the Ring, some AEW Double or Nothing. These holiday weekends, these like Memorial Day and Labor Day specifically, they've kind of turned into these giant wrestling weekends. I feel like, WWE is starting to have events on these weekends to kind of match up with the AEW events.
For some reason, they started doing it.
Yeah, so I wonder why. So it's kind of become these super wrestling weekends, which as a wrestling fan, I'm not upset about that at all. But
we win.
We win. Yeah, it gives us a ton to talk about and things like that. But first and foremost, before we start diving into the card or the cards and these events, I kind of want to let the audience and ourselves to get to know you a little bit better. So,
real quick, before we do,
Pluggo, please.
Have you gotten this before? Oh wait. Is that Steve Macklin? Are you Steve Macklin?
What?
Claudio wants to know, are you Steve Macklin? You look apparently.
I can see the resemblance. I can see the resemblance.
He's in TNA. He's in TNA.
Yeah, Steve Macklin. I can see the reference. I can see
I've
the
gotten
resemblance.
what is it? I can't even remember his name. The guy that used to do all the food challenges and on YouTube. I can't remember his name.
Harley, there you go.
Yeah, okay. I used to get that.
I'm not thinking of his
Opie
name.
from Sons.
Opie from Sons of Anarchy. I can see that too.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Pour one out for
we're gonna bring that up. I'm gonna make me cry.
All right, sorry to interrupt, JPJ. Go on.
No, you're good. But before we start talking about all the wrestling and stuff like that, kind of a little bit of your background. Like, when did you first start watching wrestling? What was the thing that kind of got you into it?
So my dad is actually the one that got me into it. My dad's from Southern Georgia. He grew up watching pretty much anything and everything he could then. So he's the one who got me into it. And I remember I don't remember really watching it until The Undertaker came along. And that's when that kind of was oh, this, and of course, because I'm a fucking weirdo, I'm just yep, that's my calling. Is I like the guy who's the supernatural weird, undead wizard guy as a child, and got up, and I cried when he died. So I just remember being, and that's why Taker will always be my all-time number one. He was besides my dad, the wrestler that got me into watching wrestling.
I love that. Yeah, I started watching slightly after he debuted. So I was early 90s. I was an early 90s kid. Bret Hart was my guy. Bret Hart. And then obviously into the Attitude Era when I was in the heart of everything. I'm a teenager. I'm just this is the greatest thing of all time. What's happening every week. So that's very cool. The Undertaker, I mean, when I was a kid, he scared the crap out of me. He scared the crap out of me.
How disappointed as being Taker's as he's your number one, how disappointed were you to find out that him and Kane weren't actually brothers? we all had that moment, right? Because I think we all kind of grew up in the same area. We're wait a minute, really? I thought that was real. That's how good it was back in the day. That's how real it felt. You're just shit.
No, I think my disappointment grew when he turned into Biker Taker, and I was no, what are you doing? I don't want this. Go back to the other guy.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That
American Badass stuff I could just do without.
Yeah, it was okay, but definitely different.
Yeah, it was definitely different. But yeah, that was so. I feel all three of us kind of started watching wrestling probably around somewhat the same time and stuff like that. So fast forward all these years, you've been watching wrestling for a long time. You've been a fan for a long time. What made you decide to try to get into,
making videos, doing kind of content creation, TikTok and all? Like what were the steps that kind of got you into that world a little bit?
So honestly, because I have another, I call my main account. It's Comic Book Alex on
very good.
TikTok.
So comic book guy too over here. All right, I like that.
So I started it during, like a lot of people during the pandemic, just started posting stuff, and like not everything was comic book related. A lot of it was kind of politically related, especially living in Florida. I am not the person you think would be voting and for the governor and stuff in our state, things like that. But anyway, so a lot of that and just like nerdy stuff. And then I posted stuff, some wrestling stuff here and there, but I was like, you know what? Like, I feel like my content's so all over the place and I really want to talk about wrestling. And that's when I started and actually one of the people that inspired me to just post about wrestling stuff was Wheezy Blonde. I just, I saw her stuff and I just was like, she seems like a cool person, knows what she's talking about. And then I didn't really know anybody in the Wrestle Talk community. I just started it. And then I met so many great people, and just like Shayna. And if you guys know Shayna at all, she's, and then just like Tyler, it's like a bunch of people that I met on there. It's just, I feel like I came into it and like I was just like welcomed in the community, which felt weird, like in a good way. So,
but yeah, easy. They're that nice. Yeah,
yeah, right. Like I guess but again, you get the energy you put back, you put out. So that's what I feel like that's what happens.
100%.
Well, that's the best thing about the space. And you mentioned Wheezy and all those others, and those are people that I stumbled across, like I said, aimlessly scrolling TikTok and being in the space. I'm like, oh, these people have really good takes. And if you're a good person in the community, they'll welcome you with open arms. That's what we love is nice, good people in the space. And that's super cool that like, when did you know, like, okay, I think I got something here? Because you start doing it, and for me, when I started doing it, I was very like secretive behind the scenes. Like, what if this sucks and it doesn't take off? And I'm what if I lose interest really fast? Like, when did you know? Okay, I got the ball rolling. This is happening. This community's growing for me.
I don't like. It's weird because I did it not even thinking anybody would even like. I didn't think about followers or anything like that because I had kind of learned the ropes with the other account, like doing different things on it and playing with different things. So when the people started like really responding to me and like people you start following you and you look at them and they have, 10,000 followers and up and you're like, oh, wow, I guess I am doing something right. Like, it's kind of like, that's when I kind of was like, oh, okay. And that's honestly, I'm not going to lie. Like when that happens, the imposter syndrome kind of kicks in a little bit too. Cause you're like, it's like, I know this should be a good thing, but it kind of felt opposite for me, kind of gave me anxiety. And I'm just like, but again, like and my stuff's so sporadic now. Like I just don't, I have kids at home and I work from home. So I don't, like you guys too, like I don't really have a lot of time to like make the content and post a lot. But when anytime I do, it's just like I have an idea and I got to get it out. Like that's the way I work.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. We just throw it out there and hope it sticks. So how do you balance that? You said you got kids, you work at home. How do you find the balance I always find this question interesting as somebody that sometimes can't figure out the balance and maybe have too much on my plate one week, not enough the other, and I'm all over the place. How do you balance it out to make it work for you?
I mean, like I said, it just when an idea hits and if I can't do it right then and there, I'll kind of pocket it. And like to me, obviously with their priority, me posting things on TikTok isn't for me. So it's fun. Like I enjoy it and I love the community. But again, like I don't know if I have the balance per se. I just kind of, like when there's a lull at work sometimes and I'm like, I know I have like a good 15, 20 minutes. I can hopefully knock a video out. Cause sometimes I'll be doing it and then I get in my, again, imposter syndrome kicks in get in my own head, and I have ADHD on top of it, so like that's fun. So,
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
I hear you.
but
go ahead. No.
No, I was gonna say that's pretty much like it's just anytime I post anything, it's I have the idea right then and there,
it's
and if
just
I have
like
time.
Make it happen.
And sometimes I'll start making a video, and then I run out of time, and then I'll go back to it, and then 9 times out of 10 I just delete it because I'm just like I don't care. I don't. It's just weird.
Real quick, hi,
I was
Mrs.
gonna say,
Pluggo. Welcome
Mrs.
in,
Pluggo's
honey.
in the chat. Hi,
Hello.
Mrs. Pluggo. We also have
the first lady of beards.
the first. That is true.
Oh,
And we have
okay,
Huggy Bear
so
saying
there we
he
go.
understands
Now I'm opening
completely.
a chat.
I know. Huggy Bear says he understands completely. His wife and him started filming a year and a half ago, and they opened up their arms and brought us into their families, and it was an amazing experience.
That's
I think he's
awesome.
talking about other creators and stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah, it always helps when you have people. Sometimes, like you said, people you don't even know really, but they kind of root you on from the jump, and it's like, all right, cool. You know, like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels good, and then you're like, and it's funny because like you know you were saying before, but like so many people are like, oh, he's like a positive person, and it's not like I was trying to be like a positive person, but like I cannot stand like people that are just like all they do is bitch and whine about like everything, and like I'm a huge like comic book fan and Star Wars fan. Like there's so much toxicity in every fandom, so I'm just like I want to be the person that cuts through that toxicity and just talk about wrestling because it's supposed to be fun, like good or bad, even when it's terrible. And there's, you know, when there's been times where I was a manager of a comic book shop before pre-pandemic, and I had the TV on it, and I'd be playing Monday Night Raw or whatever, and you look up and some terrible like segment is on, and of course people that don't watch wrestling are watching it. They're like, "What is this? This is awful," and I'm like, "It's wrestling." So it's
yeah.
It's
a give or take. It's a give or take love of wrestling.
Right.
You know, some of the stuff. And like, you know, I like that mentality because here at Love Wrestling, you know, when Spencer and the gang started this in 2021, that was part of it was, hey, listen, if something's bad, we're going to talk about it, that it was bad. But like, there's so much negative bullshit and negativity everywhere. Like we're called Love Wrestling. We want to not so much like be positive just to be positive, but we want to stay on that positive trend, and like we want to celebrate and love wrestling because at the end of the day, we all like you're creating content about wrestling. Me and Pluggo do a weekly talk show about wrestling. We all do this because we love pro wrestling and we're fans of pro wrestling, right?
So like that why we're here?
I think so. I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
but
shoot,
like,
I got the wrong memo then.
Yeah, like is everything that AEW or WWE or whatever you like, is everything they do gonna hit and they're gonna be good? No. And it's okay to be like, man, that kind of sucked. Like that's okay to have that conversation. But the people that just shit on everything or just it's just like, bro, like that must be so exhausting. And like, don't get me wrong, on here, you people see me bitch about a lot of shit. You talk about Boston sports, I will go off for 10 minutes. All right. They've seen it.
They've do it. Don't tempt him, Alex.
But
don't
like
even
in those rants and in that whatever, like I do it because I love my teams and I'm frustrated about what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? It's not because I'm just like, oh, everything's so you know, it's just kind of it just has
you
to
can
be
have like that energy and that like but it's to be acting like where it's always just everything you just say is negative and like just to, like not only that, like keep hitting the same point over and over. Like, you know, how many times like someone will comment on something and you're like, you know, like Tony Khan does cocaine or whatever the fuck, like, you know, like, oh, like, you know, all these different, like all these, you know, whatever with WWE, like the same crap all the time. Like, and you're just like, you got like, again, like the video you showed where tell me you don't watch AEW, like you just repeat everything you say on the internet. That's what it is. Like, that's what like those people that comment that shit see what other people like those negative Nancy people say all the time and to just parrot what they say. Yeah. And like I can't do it. That's like, you know, most of the time I delete those people's comments and block them, but I had to call that person out and I ended up blocking him anyway. So because he was trying to comment and combat back and I was like, nah, dude, no.
Yeah, I've noticed it's harder in the space for. And I do it sometimes too, where I'll post something that I know might spark a conversation. But it's crazy to me. Like, you could post something positive 20 times a day and get like no traction, and then you go one like negative comment about whichever side of the fence you want to be on, and everybody jumps out of the woodwork, and it's like, what? It's a weird dynamic in the IWC, and especially on the TikTok side of things. We're not very big on TikTok. How did you decide like TikTok was the avenue? Is it just because it was more convenient for you, or like because you're killing it over there for sure? And I can't figure that app out for the life of me.
So with TikTok, like it was just all like pandemic, like the panini, the pandemic, whatever you want to call it. Panini on TikTok, so you don't get it get pulled or whatever. Anyway, so with the comic book Alex thing, I had friends that like I knew from like the comic book store and just other places that were posting stuff on TikTok, and I was watching their videos because before like that, like I remember just TikTok being like either dance video stuff or just like the cringiest videos of people doing whatever. And I like literally at times I remember at work we would watch like cringe TikTok compilations on YouTube, like
oh yeah, I remember those.
So I just like and I was thinking is like, really this thing is and that's what it became this whole other beast during like the panini. And that's when I started posting stuff. And honestly, like Instagram, all this stuff, like I don't know how any of those work, and I don't even like I'm not even sure how TikTok really works. I just know like you have to like hashtag, and then especially with my other account, I share the video to like some of my friends too, to kind of get some traction going. But I still don't get out of that $200 or $300 view jail. Like, I'm just always in that, like, right. So it's just, and YouTube, I don't know like about YouTube either. I've posted a few things on YouTube, but like nothing, I don't even know how to get people to watch them. So besides sharing to people.
Well, darn, there goes our strategy, JPJ. Trying to figure
but honestly,
this out.
like, like it just, sometimes that algorithm will just pick up a video. And like, that's what happened with my other one. I have like 5,000 something followers on that. It was because like there was a couple of videos that just took off, and one I had to like just make friends only because it was taken off so badly, and then it fell on the other side of TikTok, and it was like getting I'd wake up to like 100+ comments of all these people like that are opposing what I was saying, and I was like, you know what? And again, like that's that me doing all that stuff in the other account is the reason why I don't deal with people coming into my comments and saying whatever and then like giving them the time of day, because I learned it's not worth it at all. Like they're not worth my time, or like me even like just go to their account, block and delete the comment. That's what I do.
Yeah. Because I mean, not everybody, but a lot of those people, when they want your engagement, they're like you said, you're never going to give them an answer where they're going to be okay. They're just going to keep it going as long as you entertain them to keep it going, right? Because that's what they want, And I think, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's always like, and it always ends up being some version of a straw man argument for them.
Exactly,
because they never stay on topic, and you're just like, I'm talking about this, and you keep going this way. So,
yeah. And I think Huggy Bear says it right. He says positivity is infectious. So I think it is. I think it is. And if you see positive people, you see positivity, you want to kind of be around that and stuff like that. So
that's what works, man. That's the best part, and that's why, like, we talked, to Scoob a couple weeks ago about the same thing, like. And he said the same thing. He's like, that block button is free and it's good for your peace of mind. And like,
exactly,
because I'm starting to see it. And I talk to JPJ most times before show starts, and I give him like the highlights of what people said to me on Facebook this week.
Right.
And I'm like you. I'm like, why you pay attention to that crap? Just delete them.
I say, to be fair, I do have quite a few positive comments, but it's always the weirdos that I'm like, it's funny, but I'm not going to acknowledge it. But that's what you took from this. I posted the other day.
That's what it is. It's like, You took that? What you just
Yeah.
that's what you got out of what I was saying? Like, what the heck?
I posted the other day that I thought Pac and Jay White were cooking. I think the storyline is working with Death Triangle and Bang Bang Gang. And the first comment I got was, man, that Cody Rhodes is such a mid-card champion. What a bum. And I didn't say a word because I was like, huh? And everybody was like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
Why are you in here trashing Cody Rhodes? This post has zero mention of Cody Rhodes.
Right.
That's just the kind of stuff that cracks me up. But yeah, no, I love the vibe of like, just don't give it a piece of mind, hit that block button. I think that is a killer way to go about it, man. You're a better man than I am. I can tell you that.
100%. All right, but we do have a boatload of wrestling to dive into. We are gonna. I think we'll start with King of the Ring. That's a smaller
Why don't we
card.
start real quick? Where do you air?
we have
Where do you air on the side of like? What do you watch during the week? What's your go-to? If you had like, what's your schedule like?
When I have time, I try to watch much as I can. But honestly, like the only reason I don't watch WWE on a consecutive, basis is my wife doesn't care about WWE like at all. And I like to spend as much time with her as I can. Yeah. We're basically like attached to the hip as much as possible. But she'll watch AEW. So mostly I watch when I can. I try to watch WWE, but a lot of times I just watch the clips, and then I watch Dynamite on Wednesday, and then sometimes I get to watch Collision. It just when I have time,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair.
And again, like that, I catch up on through clips as well.
Yeah.
So
The beautiful thing about wrestling is you can catch up on it pretty quick.
Yeah, I was going to say Raw and Dynamite are really the only two shows I watch live, like as they are airing every week. Mm-hmm. And then I catch up because I do a show on Sunday mornings just about AEW called Firmly AEW with my buddy Drew. So obviously I try to watch Collision live on Saturdays, but there's times I don't. So I'm either cramming it in Saturday night late before I go to bed, or I'm waking up early Sunday morning and cramming it before we go live or stuff like that. But Raw and Dynamite are really the only two shows I watch live every week because, listen, love wrestling, but we have lives. Like I don't have kids like you two, but like I have a significant other. I have friends. I have errands and things like, there's only so much wrestling you can watch with a human schedule. You know what I mean? So, but there is a lot. Holiday weekend down here in the States. Memorial Day is on Monday. And like we talked about at the top, this has kind of become a wrestling weekend of sorts these last few years with WWE doing their Saudi shows.
I hate it so much.
You hate it?
Yeah.
It's fair. I mean, to each their own. Bro.
My son's birthday. This is his birthday.
Well, that's not WWE's fault.
Their fault. They should have known. I'm
that's
busy.
That's not AEW's fault.
I'm so
you got to
busy.
spread your calendar out a little bit.
But yeah, Saturday. Well, actually, I guess if you think about it, the WWE is kind of expanded to Friday. Tomorrow,
because tomorrow we still don't have we're going to go through the King of the Ring card here, but we still have two of the matches undetermined because we need results from tomorrow.
We're going to do
our best to think about who we think is going.
We're going to spoil them right here tonight. We're going to tell you exactly what's going to go down, and then you're going to be like, "Damn, those guys were good."
But before we do that, you can see right next to Alex and right below me here, you see that little NordVPN thing down there. If you are a wrestling fan and you're ever on the road, you're ever traveling and you want to hook up with your home Wi-Fi and, stay safe from malware and threat protection and become safer online with a single click, 24/7 customer service, if you're out of the country, you can hook up to your home Wi-Fi very easily with a VPN. NordVPN is the fastest VPN on the internet, and they are one of the new affiliates here at Love Wrestling. So go check them out, nice. NordVPN. You want to look into it. I know sometimes, financially you're having a rough month, and $50 a month now, especially with AEW doing 10 pay-per-views a year now as opposed to 4. $50 a month is a lot. Well, that VPN, you can say you're from anywhere the hell you want and maybe pay less than that too. So just saying, wrestling fans, NordVPN, a place to check out, our newest affiliate here at Love Wrestling. So go check them out if that is something you are super duper interested in. Might come in handy, especially this weekend with all the wrestling we got to watch.
That was super good, man.
You know, I'm a natural. That's what they say.
It's like our first time doing it.
You know,
good job.
You know, some of us are just born different. We're just born different, some of us. Anyway, all right. So let's talk about the 2 matches that are happening on SmackDown tomorrow night, because they will decide who will be joining Gunther on the men's side and Lyra Valkyria, which we will talk about on the women's side in the finals of the King and Queen of the Ring. So on SmackDown tomorrow night, on the men's side of things, we have Randy Orton going against the chipmunk talking Tama Tonga.
Do it.
I'm pretty good at. There you go, Scott. Right there, an endorsement. He has NordVPN, $20 for pay-per-view.
Do it, JPJ. You're doing it last night.
I'm pretty good at it. Well, I'm usually not on screen when I do it, but
I don't care.
All right, so he kind of does like a It's pretty good, right?
Oh man,
it's pretty good. I don't know why they had him do that. That was kind of. He didn't do that shit in New Japan. That wasn't part of his shtick. Not saying that I've liked the integration of him and Tangaloa, and Jacob Fatu is rumored to be coming soon. Yeah, maybe even this weekend. But he's rumored to be coming soon. I like what they're doing in the most part for the new bloodline. I like what they're doing, but that was very odd that they had him do. I was just like, all right, that was just kind of out of nowhere, unexpected. It was very weird. But him and Randy Orton in the final, the semifinals on the men's side, and the winner will be going to face Gunther. And I'm just going to say off the rip, going into Raw, when they first came out with this tournament, I was like, well, that's just made for Gunther. That's just made for him to be the king of the ring on the men's side. Like they're already the ring general. Like that's just right up there, lost the IC belt. This kind of elevates him, whatever. But then when we got down to the final 4, I was like, oh, are they going to do Jey Uso versus Tama Tonga and do like a bloodline thing for the finals? Like I thought that was a possibility. But with Gunther beating Jey and what was a fantastic match on Raw, I didn't know I needed Gunther versus Randy Orton in my life ever. But that match, if it happens, which I think is going to happen, that's like an all-time match for me. That's an all-time, like one of those matches, like I said, I was just like, I never thought about it, never thought whatever. But now that it's looking like that might be that's just, dude, that's going to be, how is that not the match of the show on Saturday if that's what we get? Gunther and Randy Orton. That's going to be unbelievable. I'm picking Randy Orton, as you can tell, tomorrow night. I'll let Alex go. He's the guest. But are you thinking the same?
I'm thinking the same thing. And it's funny because I heard somebody else talking about this, and they were saying they think that they think Randy might win it because it's one of the things he hasn't done yet in his career.
That's true.
But it's, to me, if you're doing this the way it should be done, I think Gunther should just take the whole thing because, again, like you were saying, he lost he's not in another title picture just yet. Like we gotta wait for that. And he's lost the IC title, and I will ever love that guy because he elevated that title, because that's one of my favorite titles since I was a kid. And just to see him winning King of the Ring is just, to me, just makes sense, and something he can again elevate again, take this thing and really make it mean something.
Yeah. And I think that's the IC title for me, and you just said it, and I know for Pluggo too, because we're all around a similar age. Like the IC title when I was growing up, that was the title. Like that was the cool title that you wanted. Even more than the heavyweight championship. Like all the cool wrestlers.
One was the hardcore title.
Well, that was later on. But all the cool wrestlers had the IC title. Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Roddy Piper. Like all the cool guys had the IC belt. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then that was definitely used. You were the IC champ. And then if you had a good reign and everything went the way that they thought it was going to go, when you lost the IC belt, you then moved up and you were kind of not next in line, but you were in the discussion to be world champion in the future. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I do think Gunther did that. Gunther made the IC title matter more in the last 15 years than it did, period. End of story.
100%.
And this is perfect for him because I'm it's hard for me to pick anybody else on the WWE roster that I find to be a better all-around performer / wrestler than Gunther. I think he's the best guy they have as a package. And my hopes for him is a Royal Rumble win, and it's him and Cody at Mania. Yeah. I think him and Cody for a long-term feud that's where it's at. But this is something to give him that he can really bite into, and he can be King Gunther for the summer and just continue to destroy people and do his thing. That kind of sounds like where it would go. So Pluggo, who do you think? Are you in agreement with the both of us that it will be Randy?
Well, here's where I'm at. So today, actually, at the presser for the Saudi
I did not watch the presser, so
Triple H announced that the King and Queen of the Ring get a championship opportunity at SummerSlam. So do we want Randy Cody at SummerSlam? Because I would imagine that's where Randy would go if he wanted it. That'd be a fun feud. Or do we want Gunther, Damian Priest? Damian Priest loses it to Gunther at SummerSlam, and then we go Bash at Berlin with Gunther as because Cody and Gunther are on opposite brands.
So yes, that would have to be a Rumble.
It would have to be a Rumble thing.
Yes.
So now it's like, which do you want? Because I want that Randy Cody story. I want that to be told because I think we've talked about it at nauseum. There's so much there.
Randy should RKO.
Gunther is on another level. And I just don't want to, if you're going to put the title opportunity out there, if you're going to say there's a championship opportunity, sure, they could go for something else. But I think that would be the play, right? Gunther wins and he challenges Damian Priest at SummerSlam.
Right.
That's where I would go. And then he wins at the SummerSlam, goes into Bash at Berlin, and we figure out how to get Ilya in the mix. Even though I was preaching that we should have done Ilya and Gunther in the semifinals. But hey, that's me. So I guess I'm going to go with Gunther.
I kind of agree with Randy, with Huggy Bear, though. Like the Orton Cody thing, that should be the SummerSlam match, in my opinion.
Without
the biggest story. I don't think Orton needs to win King of the Ring.
Here's the problem, though. When is the last big win Randy Orton's had?
That is a problem. That is a problem.
He doesn't need it. He's bulletproof. He's an all-timer, but the dude's been racking up.
Yeah, but the guy can't be 0-6 at pay-per-views and go, Cody, you're next for me, buddy. It's like, well, why don't you win some big matches and then we can. I know the story's there. All he has to do is, I don't disagree. I'm glad that they added stakes. We were talking about this last week. Besides winning the King of the Ring, like, are they going to add more to what you get? So that the title matches at SummerSlam, I like that. I still would stick with Gunther, and I don't know if it's Damian Priest by the time we get to SummerSlam, because Damian Priest is going to fight Drew at Clash at the Castle.
Should I write him down?
We'll see what happens there. But
should I be professional? Write these.
Are you writing the picks? Yeah, we should.
The picks. Yeah,
I would say yes. Let's write the picks so we can post them on the interwebs.
Okay.
Look, I think this is one.
Yeah,
I feel pretty solid that Orton's going to win tomorrow night. Who ends up winning the King of the Ring in my final choice there? We'll kind of see when we dive into the pay-per-view part of it. But I feel pretty good that it's going to be Randy and Gunther, and that match is just going to be
poor Tonga.
Yeah, I know. He'll be okay though. I think
he'll be fine.
And then on the women's side, we have Nia Jax going 1-on-1 with Bianca Belair, and the winner will face Lyra Valkyria, which we'll talk about her in a little bit when we dive into the pay-per-view. I'm going to be honest here. We were talking last week, Pluggo, on this show, and I said that at the beginning of the tournament, I wanted Nia Jax to be queen. I wanted it to be Queen Nia, and I was worried because of the Jade Cargill side of things and stuff like that. But the way they did that and the way they got Jade DQ'd and Nia to win here, I think we are going to get Queen Nia Jax. I think that's what's happening here, because I think Bianca, even though she won that match against Tiffany Stratton, which was a great match, she was favoring the knee. She could barely walk on it. After the match, she was limping, talking about the injury. I think that's going to come into play during the match, and I do think Nia Jax gets a victory tomorrow night over Bianca due to the knee, or maybe there'll be some sort of other stuff that happens. But I think we're going to get Nia Jax and the final for the Queen of the Ring. Plug, I'll start with you this time, and we'll end it with Alex. What are you thinking about tomorrow night?
I like letting you guys make really good points, and then I piggyback off. That's my hope. This has been interesting because, like, I try not to dive too much into the rumor mills and everything, and just kind of let the TV tell me the story. But like, the Bianca stuff. There was Montez was posted that he's a father.
Oh,
of
yeah,
three. People were questioning the pregnant, and then it's like now she's her. And then the tag team dynamic, Belair and Jade. I was interested there. Does Jade get involved by accident on Friday or cost Belair? Does that start the friction that maybe ends up ultimately splitting them up? At the end of the day, I am hard pressed to go against. God, man, because I think Belair and Valkyria would have the better match, and I think you need to put on absolute bangers in front of a Saudi crowd. But don't get me wrong, Nia's fantastic. I think Nia gets a lot of hate for no reason. To be different from you, JPJ, I'm gonna with Belair. Love it. I don't love it.
All right, you're picking Bianca. All right, Alex.
I'll take Bianca to beat Nia, and I think Lyra wins the whole thing.
Really? All right. Well, we're going to dive into that too. We'll dive into that. But Alex, break the tie. Where are you leaning? You leaning Nia? You leaning Bianca tomorrow?
Remember who set this up, Alex. Remember who's cashing the checks. No.
I'm on. I think Nia's going to win tomorrow. Just honestly, just because it makes sense. They've been kind of putting her in this position of this powerful, person in the women's division, bringing her in and having her dominate for a while. And I think it's time to give her. We're not throwing a title on her right now. Let's get her in that position to where she can have a title shot. And Bianca doesn't need this, this win. She's been, fantastic. She was a fantastic women's champion. She's a tag team champion right now with Jade. And it doesn't make sense for me anyways. I'm not a writer at WWE, but it doesn't make sense for me for anybody but Nia to win tomorrow and face Via at the Queen of the Ring.
Yeah.
See, you guys make excellent points. I don't disagree. I'm just being different.
There you go. We got Huggy Bear asking.
It's not fun to go chalk, man. We can't all go chalk.
It's true. It's fair. It's fair. So what do you think of Nia Jax and maybe being a part of the new bloodline? She is part of the family. I think the bloodline could use a female in there if they I think Naomi would also be, even though I know Jimmy just got his ass kicked out of there, so that maybe might not make sense. But maybe that doesn't make sense. But I was always very high on Naomi being the one when she came back to go to the bloodline. But Nia makes perfect sense. She would be, even though she'd be the only female in the group, she would be arguably the muscle of the group, the way that she's presented. I have no problem with that. I would love to see a female representation in the bloodline. I think that would be an excellent choice if they wanted to go down that road. I think it's fine as is. I don't think it's needed per se, but I would definitely not be opposed, especially someone like Nia. She would fit in right away, That's a good question.
I think they would have already done it if they were going to do it.
It's fair.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe winning Queen of the Ring changes the vibe. Maybe the bloodline needs a queen. We'll see.
Maybe. You never know.
Are you guys are you guys taking Nia to beat Lyra? Because I got Belair. We might as well. I got Belair versus Lyra. I got Lyra winning because I think you just gotta build this star. Then keep going. Just keep it going.
I don't disagree with that. If Lyra Valkyria wins the whole thing, I think that I have no problem with that whatsoever. I think that is, I got no problem with them pushing new people, especially with the stigma of NXT people coming up and being dog shit. The booking, not them, but the booking. Triple H, we kind of know Triple H ain't going to do that. He ain't going to do that. And this is a perfect example. Like Lyra Valkyria on her way here, she had a really good match with Dakota Kai. She had a really good match with Zoe Stark. And that match that she had with Io on Monday, that thing almost went 20 minutes long. That match was awesome. That was a great
That's my favorite stat. That match went longer than the entire 2021 Queen of the Ring tournament.
Literally. That match went 19 minutes and 15 seconds. It was a 3-segment match, and it was an excellent match. And I thought the whole time going on, I'm like, oh, Io's winning this. Io's going to win this. And she didn't, and Lyra won, and it was like, holy crap, they're really, and she's having the backstage interactions with Becky Lynch a couple times on Raw, so they're putting her with Becky, who we know is like, one of the greats. She beat Becky Lynch for the NXT title in NXT when they gave her that belt. Like, they clearly have been behind her big time since she even got into WWE. And this is a perfect example. Now, where I'm going to disagree with you before passing it off to Alex is, to me, Nia Jax is winning the Queen of the Ring. I think we talked about Randy Orton losing all their big matches. Nia Jax is also, she beat Becky on the way to, she beat Becky that one time on Raw. I think on the way to Mania, she beat Becky.
Yep.
But other than that, Nia's lost everything. And I think that to me, this looks like you give Nia a big win. She's the Queen of the Ring. She's a monster. She can just play off that. But Lyra Valkyria is not going to get squashed. She's going to look like this underdog, not going to give up, going to look like she's going to win a few times, get her ass kicked, but never stop fighting and lose. And I think she actually becomes a star out of this performance, because everyone's going to look at her as that underdog. Like, man, she fought her ass off. She just came up real short. And that's going to make her even more popular, I think, in the wrestling fans' eyes. That's my opinion of how that match probably goes. I don't know. How do you think that's going to go, Alex, with Nia and Lyra?
Honestly, it's weird that you and I are obviously and very incompatible.
I'll just leave, guys.
Simpatico.
It's okay.
But if, like you said, if Lyra made one, that would be amazing.
Of course.
Like, there's no reason to, not let her. But I just, like I said before, Nia's been in this position to where I really feel like she has I would say deserved, but has like worked for this and and earned her spot to win this tournament.
I agree.
And for her, and she has the personality to be like, did you win? I'm the queen. I squashed everybody. I'll squash you. That would just be perfect for her.
Yeah. And Nia, since she's come back, she's been excellent. And she has been excellent. She was essential in the build to Becky and Rhea at Mania. She was essential and was basically a third party to that build. You never want to really use the word deserve, because you earn everything you get most of the times.
Right.
But she's as close to deserving this as anybody. Anybody for the work because you look at, and I agree, Pluggo, you even said it, she still gets shit on more than she should.
Yeah.
But she got shit on for some things her first go round, for some things that she deserved to get shit on. She hurt people sometimes, but ever since she's come back, she's been A+ on the mic, in the ring. She's just been A+. She's been excellent. And nobody can deny that. If you are denying it, you're just a hater.
Yeah.
And I think this moment.
What's the line, Alex? Tell me you're not watching without telling me you're not
Tell me
watching.
you're not watching Nia Jax without telling me you're not watching Nia
And,
Jax.
I've become very pro Nia. Very, very pro Nia since she's come back. And I think this is her tournament to win. And I was nervous that they were just going to do a Bianca or a Jade or something like that, which, again, would have been perfectly fine.
Right.
But now that it's kind of lining up this way, I think it's Nia's to lose. I really do think it's Nia's to lose. And I hope she wins it. I hope she does.
Fair enough.
And we already touched on it, so we might as well. King of the Ring final. We all have it being Gunther versus Randy Orton. And also, I think Nia versus Bayley for the title at SummerSlam. I think that's a match we haven't really seen it. I think that's a good match. If we're adding that, I didn't even think about that since they're adding that in. But I think Nia Bayley's a feud / match we really haven't seen that I would be cool with babyface Bayley going against the big, monster queen and Nia. I think that would be fun too. So we got Gunther and Randy in the finals. All three of us have that. Alex, I'll let you go first. I mean, it seems like you and I are going to be aligned here, but you think it's King
we all picked.
Are all three of us? We already picked Gunther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you watch the show?
Well, no, you were talking about Randy versus Cody with the.
I was just putting it out there, just throwing some ideas out there.
I didn't know if that was your pick. I didn't know if that was going to be your pick.
The pot. No, it's not.
I'm just trying to get.
I was convinced that Randy doesn't need the King of the Ring to make that a thing,
right?
And I don't want to disparage what Damian Priest is doing, but it's, you know what I mean,
yeah.
Gunther beats him at SummerSlam, is anybody going to be that upset about it?
No, it could be Gunther and Drew. Though,
Yeah,
I don't know if
it
Priest
could
gets
be
past Drew.
Right? Yeah, I mean, there's other things in that way to what I had suggested, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's just a matter of time before they pull up the trigger. Priest. They just needed Priest to win and make the Money in the Bank matter because they fumbled the bag so many times over the last few years. So
yeah, and I think they did a good job. And I haven't necessarily, I know he's not wrestling on this card, but I've kind of enjoyed the Damian Priest run so far. I haven't.
Not terrible.
I thought the promo he did with Drew at the beginning of Raw, I think that was the best he's looked since he's been champion.
But if you were gonna be like, which champion will lose at SummerSlam, Priest or Cody, you're gonna go, So
yeah,
and it's Gunther who's a badass. So whatever.
He's so good, a living legend, truly a living legend in our midst. Every time I see him, he just reminds me of like such an, as odd as this sounds, he's like a modernized old school wrestler. That's how I view Gunther. Yeah. And I'm like, that guy, if he was around in the territories, he would have been the biggest wrestler in the world. The top villain for Hogan or San Martin, he would have just been that guy.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, yep, all right, we got to take down Gunther. He's the dude. And he's becoming that guy now in modern times, truly. We have a triple threat match, which I think has potential to be the match of the night for the Intercontinental Championship. The champion, Sami Zayn, going against Chad Gable and Bronson Reed. We saw on Monday, Chad Gable got a victory over Sami Zayn due to Otis interfering. Didn't want to, but he listened to the boss's orders and he interfered. He even went up to Sami Zayn and apologized later in the night. But before it looked like it was going to be Gunther and Randy, which might be the match of the night. This match for me was like, this match can really, really, really bang. And it should. Alex, the way they put this together, and I'm glad that like they've leaned into it, is like you have this personal feud in here with Sammy and Chad and that build up. And then you have Bronson Reed, who's the muscle, the biggest guy in the match, and he doesn't give a shit about either of them. He's just there to win a title. That's what all business there, you know what I mean? So it's a good dynamic because you got two guys that really want to kill each other. And then you got Bronson Reed that's like, I'll let you guys kill each other. I'm here for that title. And that's the only thing I care about. I don't care about either of you. It's been very cool the way they've kind of set this up. Where are you leaning? Do you think who you think walks out IC champ on Saturday afternoon? Like where's your mind at?
I'm feeling that probably Gable. I feel like it's going to be the whole thing of to me, the way I would do the finish is, like keep having them go at each other. Obviously Bronson gets in and at some point they just kind of team up against Bronson, Reed to get him out of there. And then they're like, let's go. Like, then they go at each other. And I feel like Reed's probably going to do something with some kind of move on Sammy, his finisher or whatever. And then that's when Gable steps in and kind of steals the pin. That's what I feel like it was going to happen.
I actually think that's exactly how it goes. I think he'll hit a tsunami on Sammy somehow or something. And Otis will get involved or somebody will get involved right after Bronson's taken out and Gable gets that cheap little pinfall victory to win the championship. And I think that's the way to go.
And then they'll have feud till SummerSlam for this whole, him and Sammy will feud to SummerSlam.
Yeah. Pluggo.
Well, shit, man. I don't know now. Gosh.
I mean, this is a big moment for Sammy. He doesn't.
Here's the thing. It's a triple threat match. There's no DQs in a triple threat match.
Right.
Nope.
Yes, Otis is loyal to a fault, but does he tip the scales? Does he finally lose his shit in Saudi and just take out Chad or the rest of Alpha Academy? But he has been chumming it up with the Creeds, so maybe there's some layers to this. Ultimately, I'm at the point with Gable that if you're not going to put it on him like soon, so by Saturday, I don't know when you do it because he's doing everything you're asking him to do, and you keep kind of like, not quite yet. Not that I love Sami Zayn. I think he's fantastic. So I wouldn't be disappointed if Sammy wins. But I think that there's something happening where Chad's going to stack that deck and he's going to figure out a way to get it done. So yeah, I think you guys nailed it on the head there.
Chad Gable is so good. Chad Gable, he started to get the "you suck" chants like Kurt Angle back in the day. That's how you know. That's how you know those people that are chanting "you suck." They don't hate Chad Gable. They respect the hell out of Chad Gable, and they're giving him those chants because he's earned that stuff. And he's over. And let me tell you this: they've teased it, and you can already tell by the reaction. When Otis finally does turn on Chad Gable, Otis is going to be over too.
Yeah,
they have built this perfect. Like Otis is going to be legitimately over, man. You can just hear it when he makes those facial reactions. You can hear the crowd being like, "Come on, Otis, just fucking." They took.
Come on, man. They took his tag
briefcase. They took his briefcase. I've been a fan of Otis. So he was in that tag team, Heavy Machinery, and they were fine.
Whatever happened to Tucky?
They cut the other guy.
I know, but like what? They were fine. Pop up somewhere
on a random ass. I almost called it a Dynamite because it was on Wednesdays back then. On a random ass NXT, Otis went 1-on-1 with the then evil champion Tommaso Ciampa for the title, and they had like a 25-minute banger. And Otis was keeping up with them and doing all. And at that moment, I was like, that's a dude right there. If they treat that guy right and they book him right, which Vince did not do. But if they book him right, that guy can be a star for them. I'm not saying world champion, that type of guy, but that guy can be a legitimate dude. And I think when he finally, I think we're getting there. And Chad Gable is essential to it because that's how good Chad Gable is. But they've done a great job to really get to the level that they are, because they were kind of thrown together as kind of just there you go, we need another tag team, you guys are kind of whatever, and now a couple years later they're
right,
they're important.
And this just in before we go to the next match here in a few minutes, the one, the only Zach Smartmouth himself is going to pop in for a quick second and announce the surprise Quizplex guest, because he graciously has moved his show to, I think, 2 weeks from now due to some scheduling conflicts. So
Quizplex was supposed to be tonight.
You get to hang out with us for another hour live.
Yes, you get us for the whole gamut tonight. So
poor Alex, he's like, God damn it.
He's like, I thought I had an easy bro.
He's like, I like this JPJ guy a lot, but this plugger later.
Terrible wrestling decision.
Yeah, dude, this guy, I am the wild card, man. I like chaos in my wrestling. I'm a fan of like just going crazy and doing things that like,
so I'm sure you'll like it when we move over to AEW because they got flamethrowers over
there. I know, dude. I was
what the hell? Dude, all right.
Wait till I tell that story. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna sound like such a bad dad. When we tell that story.
All right, now we just got our two World Championship matches left on this card. So we have a singles match for the Women's World Championship. I did see a clip today that Liv Morgan tried to attack Becky Lynch at the press conference today, but Becky kind of snuffed her out and
stopped her.
Liv kind of cowered off. But we have Liv Morgan on her revenge tour, going up and challenging
Becky Lynch.
Yes, literally. People are saying her contract is up like literally now, right? Or something like that. Like soon, Monday or some shit. I don't know. They're saying it's literally like
all elite. I'm sorry. I'm just
versus Becky Lynch versus
she's
Becky
a lifer.
Lynch.
We know it.
I thought they would stretch it out a little bit because I think Rhea's going to be out for a little bit longer. But this is going to Liv, right? Is Liv taking this? How are we feeling? Somebody.
Alex, go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't think Liv is going to take it yet. I think we're building Liv to SummerSlam, a SummerSlam win. I think that's where you have Liv win, and then hopefully by then Rhea can do a pop in at the end and be like, come back, I'm here, that's mine. I know you just want it, but that shit's mine, and I'm taking it. So,
all right.
Listen,
why don't you go, and then we'll talk about the men's main event for a quick minute, and then we'll bring Zach on, and then we'll kind of
that's good with Zach.
So we'll finish this. We'll talk about the men's main event, and then before we swap over to AEW,
like I just said about Chad, I'm going to say this about Liv, and this is going to sound like a dig at Liv
Scott
Morgan.
says June 1st her contract ends.
So, I know she'll resign,
but like, but you never know.
It's fun.
She might take some time off. I wouldn't look. If Liv were to win on Saturday, I wouldn't be like I don't. We talked about this. Like, I don't think Becky Lynch is going anywhere. I could see her taking time off though.
I
could not being around until
Tony Khan gives me $12 million a year. I'll think about it. You cover me in all.
And I'm
looking. I'm cover me in all the strawberry jam you want.
She will think about it. I just think, to me, it would be one of those things at WWE that would say, "Okay, go see what you can get. Come back to us, and we'll give you more or match." Period. End of story.
I remember us being disappointed. Some of the section of the internet disappointed that Liv didn't win the Battle Royal. I was on the fence at that time only because like Liv gives me very, very strong, in good and bad ways, Dolph Ziggler vibes.
Yeah.
Where it's like she's like the female Dolph Ziggler. She puts on good matches. She does everything. She's always coming up short, or maybe you put the championship on her in the transition period. But this is a moment where she's kind of caught a little bit of a fire. She's got the revenge tour going. She's cooking. The fan base, for once, is really kind of starting to turn on Becky. You start to see the Becky Hogan stuff. And it's just like, this would be the moment you pull the trigger, you give it to Liv. I don't think, if you want to stretch it out, cool, but it better be something on Saturday that it's like, oh yeah, they definitely got to get this thing one more time at the next pay-per-view in a cage or something. I just think like you kind of got to strike while the iron's hot right now with Liv, because I don't want her to take a step back and kind of get forgotten and take a loss when it's like, this is the moment, because everybody said, wait till don't let her win at the Battle Royal. Wait till she takes it off Becky. It's going to mean more. It's going to rule. I'm sitting here, Liv winning it. Would have been a letdown, Zach. I agree. So
they needed to.
But I love Becky Lynch. See, she's my favorite.
They needed to hot shot a champion on that Battle Royal. What safer pick are you gonna than Becky Lynch? Like, you know what you're getting. You know, like the people that got angry at that makes no sense.
I know.
I was one of those people that I was like, give it a Nia.
But if this is,
I'm a Nia stan, apparently, but like, but
this is the first time the Becky Hogan stuff is really making traction with the IWC.
It doesn't make any that's
it doesn't make sense.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's not her.
If someone doesn't get hurt, it's Liv and Rhea right here tomorrow, Saturday.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
They had to do something because somebody got. It's not like that was the plan.
I know.
Right.
And you look at that Battle Royal, you go, okay, who can we pick here? I think Becky Lynch is probably the safest.
The man. You picked the man.
Literally. What are we doing?
Right. I agree. I just I like to speculate and just go, if this is the moment you kind of wanted to do it because of all that noise, you could do it and it might not be as weird. But what about you, JPJ? Alex, I think Becky. I got Liv. Who you got?
I'm actually going with you, Pluggo. Me and Alex. This is the first time we're not in agreement. I think I don't think Becky's going anywhere, but I can see Becky taking some time off here.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to give it to. I think, like you said, they're going to strike with the iron's heart. They're doing all the stuff behind the scenes too. We saw Liv leaving an SUV that Finn Balor was in this week on Raw, as opposed to the Rey Mysterio stuff they've been doing. So they're really adding layers to the Liv Morgan thing. I wouldn't hate them having Becky win and maybe Liv winning it again, maybe somewhere. But I think you just give it to Liv on Saturday. She's kind of in this realm now where she is hot. People are talking about her. Give it to her and let her continue to build her character as the champion. So you're waiting for Rhea to come back, because everyone knows, well, she's doing it for Rhea. So if you're waiting, because let's face it, guys, when Rhea comes back, she's the biggest babyface in the company. In the company. And when she comes back, people are going to be, if Liv is still being this shithead as the champion and just being weird and evil and all this stuff, everyone's going to be like, when is Rhea coming back? And then when she does, it's just, so I'm actually going with Liv.
She's living it up.
Liv here.
Rhea's busy. She's living it up.
I know. You saw that? Man.
I did.
All right. Then we got the main event. They did a really good job of digging themselves out of the champion versus champion hole here. But it will only be for the undisputed WWE championship.
Yeah.
It is Cody Rhodes going up against Logan Paul. To me, we talked about it at length last week. We were like, how the hell are they going to get out of this if they're doing champion and champion? What the heck they're going to do? They got out of it. And they did it in a way that makes Logan Paul look like a shithead, which works for his character.
It also makes Cody look like a bum.
What's Cody supposed to do? Demand that he defends? Like,
no,
what are you supposed to do?
Like, he had everything on his side. And he goes, "Oh, you're going to be mean to me? I'll sign that contract. That my title." It's like, you could have. I still think they're going to figure out a way tomorrow night to double strap this I'm manifesting Cody
I don't
two
think so.
straps.
We saw the LA Knight face to face with Logan Paul in the back of SmackDown later on.
I don't mean nothing.
I don't think they're doing it.
Cody two straps, baby.
I think this is the easiest match to make a decision on, honestly. But to me, this is like one of those. This is kind of a perfect Saudi match with him and Logan Paul, right? Like it's like kind of like the perfect, just big, big stars. We know Cody's winning, but it's a big match for Cody. Logan Paul, whether you hate him or love him, he's excellent at this pro wrestling thing. So I think this is the easiest. With Cody's winning, there's no debate for me at all. Alex, I don't know if anybody else has a differing opinion, but it's Cody all day, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I thought about this today, and I don't know what made me think about it. And I was just like, this is like the perfect match for like the older sibling and the younger sibling to like have a rivalry about, because the older sibling is probably going for Logan Paul and the younger sibling is all about Cody. So like this is a perfect thing for them to like be a house divided amongst the siblings. So I just thought that I was like thinking about that as like, because I do have a younger brother, and if I was a kid, we were kids at this age, I probably would be all about Logan Paul and my brother would be all about Cody. So
100%.
Yeah, that's a good
100%.
That's a good shout. I watched the signing on Friday, and like Nick was like, that's not what you agreed to, Logan. Logan's like, I got this lawyer. And then Cody, like, he just goaded Cody into signing it. But even like made mention that like, we'll take care of the paperwork later, Nick. And I don't know if that scribble was the paperwork. It's been very confusing because like they started cooking. It felt like they started cooking the tooting or the strap for strap deal. And then like WWE's like, oh God, you guys went too far. Shit, we got to figure this out. Because it did like that was the vibe. And then even like the commentators felt confused during the main event last week. And so I don't know, but at the end of the day, I'm taking Cody. I don't think you can have Cody. I mean, it's going to be a great match. Logan's fantastic. Yeah. I think he might just come up short, keep his, and you'll do the LA Knight thing. But I'm holding that sliver of hope that tomorrow night Cody's like, put it on the line, Logan. Put it on the line, and go Tim. And then that's what I want. I want chaos. But I'm here for this. So we're all going Cody, huh? We're all playing it safe.
Cody.
Oh yeah.
Logan Paul's not taking a picture in the shower with the undisputed champion.
I would be utterly shocked.
He's not drinking Prime off that thing.
No, he's going to get pinned on his Prime logo. That's what's going to happen. He's going to get pinned on his Prime logo.
So that's perfect.
But that is King of the Ring. We are going to be swapping Ring. That is King and Queen of the Ring. We are going to be swapping over to AEW Double or Nothing in a split second. But like you said, we got Zach out back. We're going to bring him on because he has a very special Quizplex announcement to make. So without further ado, the host of Quizplex and the guy that makes all these fancy little graphics that you see here for all of us here at Love Wrestling, our friend and yours, totally not an alien.
No, he's good.
Zach, he's an alien.
Not an alien.
Not an alien.
Don't lie to the people.
How are you?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
We are good. Glad to have you here for a few because you got yourself a major announcement to make right now, huh?
But before you do that, I invite you into my home and you don't call yourself an alien? It's my home, Zach. This is my house.
Leave it to Pluggo.
You know. Well, first, I actually want to thank you guys for being so flexible. Like, this was a very kind of like, usually we keep the chaos for Quizplex on the air. It's not usually what happens before the show, and kind of led to this last minute cancellation. So thank you guys for being flexible. I really appreciate that. And Alex, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, it's actually Alex that was the one that was super flexible and really cool about, I'm down to do whatever you guys need. I shot like 10 ideas at him to like make this all work, and it's all good, brother.
Well, it is much appreciated all the same, but indeed a bit of a Quizplex announcement. We had locked in one contestant for tonight initially, and that was from Montreal, the festive firework, Alex Mays. Pluggo, you spoke to him on your Get to Know article.
Alex Mays.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we weren't able to lock two more contestants, so we decided to postpone the game. We are still going to play, benefiting Lou Fisto's GoFundMe, supporting her journey towards recovery, but we're going to just do it 2 weeks from now on June 6th. So with that being said, we've got Alex Mays, and competing with them, Pluggo, can I get you to press the button?
I got it.
JPJ's got it.
He's here
we go.
Pressing the button. I'm going to hit it right now, and boom.
And his opponent will be the one and only Sexy Eddie.
Hell yeah, Sexy Eddie, baby. Hell yeah.
Montreal legend, joining us for Quizplex for pro wrestling pub trivia in support of Lufisto's journey. Eddie and Lufisto were a team back in the mid 2000s, 2006, the Missionaries of Violence. And also, Eddie has one of the most grossest iconic things I've ever seen in the independent scene.
Yes.
Tournament of Death 3. I think you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if you want me to paint a verbal picture, but if you know, you know.
I hope he wears that to Quizplex.
Will we be able to air it if he does?
Yeah,
would that be allowed?
That's a good question.
Yeah, just have a blurry, just one box is just blurred out. You just hear the voice, you know.
Well, anyway, we'll do like that whole pixelated.
That's exciting. Gimmick. Alex Mays and Sexy Eddie, very good. That's a big time announcement. Love it.
Yeah, thank you very much for welcoming me. We're super excited to have Sexy Eddie and Alex Mays, and you guys know how Quizplex goes. I don't know if we've had a guest as volatile as Mr. Edward. It's going to be difficult to kind of keep the reins in, but we're going to have fun Thursday, and we're going to be doing it for a great cause. So
love it.
Join us June 6th.
January 6th.
And, we will be the lead in here. We will have the 8 to 9 o'clock hour. We will be leading you into that Quizplex. So follow us all on the social media.
And we're not as
a lot of promotion for. No, but we'll be all right.
We'll figure it out.
We try our best.
We'll figure it out. We haven't figured out what we're doing yet.
Big news. Sexy Eddie joining us on Quizplex with Alex Mays. All right, Zach. Anything else to announce or plug?
No. I mean, other than the usual, follow me on Twitter, SmarkMouth, on Instagram, smark.mouth, and as you guys know, at Love Wrestling CA on any social media platform that you can think of.
Sweet. Zach, thanks for hopping on, buddy. Always good to see you.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right. Beauty.
Now that he's gone, let's drag him through the mud.
No, never. I would never say a bad word about that fella. I would never say a bad word about that fella.
So if you love pub, Zach is the place to go. Those questions are incredibly hard. I famously scored a negative 8 points in my Quizplex appearance. I got hosed by the fans that don't like me very much.
A lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
But all right, let's dive in. We have
you can send super chats to deter points and stuff for your favorites, and some people gave me negative 10 points, and the only reason I got 2 points is because
you're already playing. Because you were playing as
the spoiler,
which I've done as well. You only get half points.
Yeah, I was already in a hole.
So then they're so you're already coming in at a deficit. Your points don't count as much as the regular contestants. And then you got people in the chat giving you crap.
I keep this handy. Zach is anti-beard. If you notice, he's a babyface assassin. Speaking of assassins, last night. Darby.
You want to talk about? I'm gonna let Pluggo go off on that. All right, before we dive in to Double or Nothing, which is happening this Sunday in Las Vegas. Last night at the end of Dynamite, we saw Tony Khan. We saw Darby Allin.
Did we see Tony Khan?
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
he was one driving the vehicle.
Yeah, he was.
That's right. Holy
Tony Khan was drunk. They gave him a little fist bump. So that means that Tony Khan approved that flamethrower. He approved it. I can't blame him.
Tony's sitting in the car going, "Really? This is what we're doing? Okay."
Yep. But Pluggo, you seem to be very excited about this flamethrower, so you go off, King. You do your thing, and then we'll
this show was wild last night. I have like a system now where I've got like my kids aren't toddler age. I got a 5-year-old and he'll be 9 in a few days. So they're like of an age of like understand, and they have school and stuff. So it's like, all right, around 8 o'clock, we're going to shut everything down. We're going to get ready. I'm going to have it on. I'm going to be getting ready, bags and stuff ready for school. You guys go lay in bed, do your thing. So this episode's wild. Malachi Black's covered in whatever the hell that was. That was wild. Yeah. The show overall was really good. I thought it was a really good go-home show for Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
But I knew at the beginning when they barred Darby, I was like, this dude's coming back. It's Darby Allin. But it's Darby Allin, so you always expect he's going to do something crazy, but you never know quite what level that's going to be.
Right.
So I'm sitting there and they're in their room. They're getting ready for bed, and all of a sudden I hear the youngest isn't feeling good, and my son's like, Dad, he's puking. I'm like, what? No, not wait, what? It's like he's puking. and I'm like trying to like, so like I get him in the room and I'm taking care of him, and I see Darby Allin show up, and I go, "Is that a fucking flamethrower?" And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, dude." Like, I'm like, "Are you okay, bud?" And I'm like keeping an eye on him, and I felt like such a bad dad, but I was like, "Is he gonna burn somebody with that thing?" Like, what do you? Yeah. Who brings that to a wrestling show? And he was shooting it off, and I'm like, "Oh God." What a wild night. I just felt like I'm like trying to nurse a sick kid, but I'm like excited. I'm like amped up. I'm like, who brings this to a show? And my kids are just like, what's wrong with you? And, like, and then it ended, and I was like, oh, okay. So I went on, but then like you were streaming, JPJ was streaming with Josh, and I like immediately typed in the chat, was that a fucking flamethrower?
Wild.
What? Say what you want about AEW. You could feel however you want to feel about it, but I have a good time. I had a good time last night. Okada with the pump up.
Oh, with the
shoe commercial. Amazing.
Oh my God.
Malik, so that was some thick blood.
That looked like it hurt. That looked like it had to hurt.
Yeah. He didn't look happy.
He didn't look happy after
I don't
that.
think he was selling it either. I think that was like him really being like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
because that didn't go the way we thought it would.
No, like I assumed it would just be like that looked like too.
I don't know. That was
like that. That is like, yeah, they look like, damn, dude. Like you could tell it landed behind him, and then he kind of like tucked in to get it on him.
Right.
And I think that legitimately knocked him to the like. It legitimately knocked him to the ground. That
and
was
it probably
powerful.
knocked. Like I imagine it probably knocked the wind out of him too. Like,
I would think.
Like
and like when you saw him afterwards, like one of his eyes was like half closed and shit. When they were, I was like, that looked like he legitimately got hurt. Like that probably messed him up a little bit. He looked pissed.
That's not something you could run pre-show as like, we gotta
I mean, you practice it like I guess really early in the day, I guess if you wanted to, but that looked like it hurt.
It's funny, like I'm thinking because like knowing Malachi Black, he's probably like, yeah, let's make it like the old school, like like Evil Dead, like
yeah, because it looked like there was like substance in it too. It wasn't all liquid. It looked like it was like
chunky
Jello or like cranberries, or it looked. I was like, so I'm like, is that cranberry sauce? Like it looked like there was shit in it. Very bizarre. Very bizarre.
Now, like I will say, it didn't seem like he enjoyed it, but my first thought in the back of my mind was a guy like Malachi Black, who's on that supernatural side. He toys around with it, and famously did with the Brood and stuff. Like in the back of his mind, he has to be going, "This is kind of cool, right? Like I'm in a feud with Edge, and the dude just did me the Brood bloodbath. Now, granted, it looked disgusting." And worse than any blue bloodbath we've ever seen. But yeah, and the gentleman Boris is in the house, the voice of Love Pro Wrestling. I'll be on with him Saturday night with him and Dash talking LPW 26. But yeah, Alex, do you air on when you get into like the flamethrowers and this Brood stuff and Prince Nana doing the car? Like, do you get into the comedy fun part of it, or are you like, this is so cheesy? Okay.
No, I love it all. Like, it's funny when, like, to me, because here's the thing with wrestling, right? It's an art, right? And art can be, especially with, you can express it in different ways. That's why, like, when people get upset about, like, like no selling or whatever, like the spot monkey matches, whatever. I was like, yeah, there's room for that. Just like there's room for the Godfather and the Fast and Furious movies. Like they can't all be the same thing. Like, to me, that's why I love wrestling, because you can do all these different types of matches. And I, if even if it's like a whatever, you're not your type of match like that, like I'm not a deathmatch person really at all. But like that match between Hangman and Swerve, the storytelling in that match,
my God,
was fantastic. I loved that match. Again, not a storytelling person or not a deathmatch person, but to me, that was the match of that entire year. 100%. And I think like people have to see past their own biases, like with stuff like this. Yeah. And I'm the guy who like fell in love with The Undertaker from like the get-go and loved all the spooky, weird stuff. So that's the side I'm coming in from it at. Like, yeah, you can have, I love technical matches. I love every kind of, pretty much any kind of wrestling match you can have.
Yeah, and I think that's completely normal. Guess what? You can have a comedy match on a show.
Yeah,
It's okay to have Santino Marella made a whole career off of being a comedy guy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there is room for all different types. Not every match needs to be a 5-star classic. Not every match has to be, a meat versus meat, which, don't get me wrong, you can have as many of those as you want. I love that shit. I love big dudes beating the crap out of each other. But like, not every match has to be that, you can have a cruiserweight match. You can have a lucha libre match. You can have a barbed wire steel cage match, which we're seeing on this show. Like, you can do all that stuff. And that's really what it's about.
Will we see another bloodbath? Or do you think that
you know what? Fuck it. Let's start there. We have a TNT championship match. We were just kind of talking about it. It's a TNT championship match. It is Malachi Black versus Adam Copeland, and it is inside a barbed wire steel cage match. I've been saying it on here for a little bit now, Alex. I kind of want your opinion on it. I am loving Edge or Adam Copeland in AEW, especially recently. The last 2 or 3 months, man, this is the most I've enjoyed him. And since he's come back, if we're being honest, since he's come back to wrestling, I'm loving it. He's having matches that, at his age, we never thought we'd see the guy wrestle again up to a couple years ago,
Right.
But he's having matches now that I never would have thought we'd see him having. I saw on Swerve's podcast, he openly said, like, I'm trying to do a move in every match that I've never done before. And I just think that mentality, like, he's one of my favorite things to watch every week in AEW is Adam Copeland. And I didn't think I would be saying that in the year 2024. I have loved everything. How have you been enjoying Adam Copeland since he's made the move over to AEW?
The same. Like, honestly, I feel like it's the same with Brian, like, and anybody, like, all those guys that were in WWE for so long. And like, there's nothing wrong with, whatever, like what WWE is doing. But, sometimes it's just like any kind of job you have, like, you go to a different job that's kind of the same job, but you have more freedom, and then you love it more. So like, I think that's what's happening with Edge, Adam Copeland. And it's funny because what I said earlier, how my wife doesn't really care too much about WWE, and when Adam Copeland first showed up, she was like, I don't know about this guy. And then she loves him now too. Like, I can't remember what, it might've been the match with Penta, like when he came out. Yeah. And, before Penta came out, and she's like, you know what? I'm kind of like really liking this guy now. Like, I didn't really know about him at first. I'm like, I was like, yeah, this guy, I'm like, been a fan of his for years, and he's been doing some of his best work in years,
truly,
in AEW. So
yeah, I mean, you talk about that Penta match, the match he had with Kyle O'Reilly, on Collision from not this past one, but the week before, excellent. Right. He's had the match, the stuff with Christian was just so good.
Yeah.
And even this whole thing has been really good. He had a really good match with Buddy. He had a really good match with Brody. A brutal match with Brody
was brutal.
Yeah, brutal. And I just want to talk about a guy that I love, Brody King.
Yeah,
they give that guy everything. But I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm very much looking to see how brutal this match gets with the barbed wire steel cage. And it's just interesting to me to see a guy that I've been watching, like Adam Copeland, Edge, for 30 years. He never in WWE, you don't do this type of stuff. And it's just kind of like,
well, that's the thing about like the WWE, that like you said, Alex, not that they're wrong, not that they're doing it wrong. It's just, you do kind of get into that pigeon. You can kind of call an Edge match knowing like that's the spot he's gonna do, that's the spot he's gonna do, this is the move, and then there's the finish, boom. Like, it's not a bad system, but it is a system that puts you in a spot, and you do the spot, and you do it well, and you do it repetitively, and you get to go over here, and whether the crowd is not, he's getting to do things that he probably wouldn't get to do in the WWE. And let's be honest, where would Edge truly be right now if he was in WWE? Like,
right,
there's the card is super top heavy right now, with a lot of people that were already saying like, why doesn't this person have a push? Why isn't this person getting pushed? And then we'd be saying the same thing about Edge. We'd be like, what are they doing with Edge? He's just sitting there. He's in this weird, let him have some fun, make his money. If he ultimately ever goes back, cool. But I'm loving what he's doing. I'm having a good time with it. He's having a good time with it. It looks like, you can kind of tell. I'm interested. I'm super interested if they're gonna pull the trigger here with Malachi. Though we've been wanting the single title, he'll be to push him.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. Well, let's talk about it. What do we think? Do we think Adam Copeland hasn't had the TNT title for super duper long? But I'll let Alex lead on this one. Where are you thinking? Do you think we see a title change here? Do we think because House of Black, they were trios champions for a little bit. They are, I would say, for the most part, they are a dominant faction, but they do lose a lot. Yeah. They do lose a lot. And Malachi really doesn't even wrestle singly that often at all.
Right.
And I think House of Black, you can
crazy to me.
It really is because that match that he had on Dynamite with Kyle O'Reilly was
great. When I saw that card announcement, I was like,
yeah, yes, and it was really good. That match was everything.
Guys? Oh my god,
the mixed martial arts, the submission. That match was right up my alley. Right up my alley. Is this the time that we give Malachi Black a singles title, or do you think he needs it with the way House of Black and he kind of operates?
I don't necessarily think he needs it, but personally, I would like to see him win. Just because I think it's time that he has a title like that, and then also like it kind of brings back some legitimacy to the House of Black. No. Julia doesn't have the wait, yeah, she doesn't have the championship anymore.
No, she's
so,
she's out a little bit, yeah.
And she's injured or something. So again, she's someone that took that title, elevated it, and doesn't even need it anymore. Like at some point she will be the AEW Women's Champion. But I really feel like if we're not going to put Malachi in any other kind of like singles like championship like storyline, give him the TNT championship, and like he will elevate it and do the whole House of Black rules thing again. Like I absolutely love that, like letting your opponent pick the one stipulation for the match. Every time they do the lighting for those matches is just amazing. Like,
I agree.
It's so cool.
Yeah. Pluggo, what do you think? Where you leaning?
I would say, wouldn't that be a big waste of marinara sauce if Copeland doesn't win on Sunday?
Oh,
we wasted it on you. I'm sitting here. It's Malachi Black, and it's like, all right, we finally got the singles match. You built all of this up to this moment. You had Edge run through Brody and do all this stuff, and it's like I want Malachi to win it so bad. But again, not because I think Copeland's on a hell of a run. So this is this is one I don't have a lot of confidence in. I hate to say it. I think Copeland retains. I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm leaning.
Here's the other thing, though. I'm going to put this point out there because I think about this all the time. Have we noticed quite often, though, like Edge is in these feuds, like House of Black has Buddy Matthews and they've got Brody, so they can get involved and they can sway this thing, but nobody ever comes out and helps Edge. Edge just takes a beat down for people. He has no friends backstage. Maybe he made a friend to help him out. I don't know.
Well, who knows? But I think that's part of the reason why he chose the barbed wire steel cage match. Is he's like, it's just you and me, buddy.
I think
this whole cage is going to be wrapped in barbed wire.
Brody friends want to come in here about no barbed wire.
I agree. Hey, you never know.
Buddy Matthews might care about some barbed wire because Rhea might care. Like, don't let that shoot through it. Brody is like, I don't give a shit.
Savage.
But I don't love it. I don't love the pick, and I'm not trying to be different. If I was confidence pointing this thing, I would have very little on it. I think.
Oh, I'm leaning that way as well. I'm leaning that Adam Copeland finds a way to retain. But again, I would be happy. I'm happy either way because I would be very happy if Malachi Black pulled through and won a singles title as well. I just want to see that guy wrestle more.
Yeah.
I just want to see him wrestle more.
Yeah,
dude.
Me too.
He was one of my favorite guys as Aleister Black in NXT and even on the main roster while he was there. Like, I just want to see him wrestle more. I like the way he wrestles. I like the guy. But if I had to pick, which we have to pick, I think I'm leaning Adam Copeland keeps it for a little bit longer. No, I do. I do.
Say,
all right, we have just a regular singles match. Trent Beretta specifically requested that it just be a straight up wrestling match, Trent Beretta versus Orange Cassidy, and the very intriguing Don Callis looming over this Orange Cassidy. We saw they had a match. It was a tag match on Wednesday on Dynamite last night. Callis is on commentary. He helps Orange Cassidy at one point try to avoid getting beaten or getting a move put on him or something like that. I don't necessarily think I want Orange Cassidy to be with Don Callis. However, I am very intrigued and I want to know where this is going. Like it's something that I never would have thought, but ever since Callis walked out of that tunnel a couple weeks ago, I need to know what the hell's going on with Don Callis and where is he being truthful and really wants to help Orange Cassidy? Is Orange Cassidy going to go heel, which I'm not really against if they wanted to try something new like that with him. I'm just very intrigued by it. With that being said, I think Trent Beretta wins this match. Alex, I'll go to you with how you're feeling about just a straight up wrestling match with Trent Beretta and OC.
I think it'd be interesting, if I feel like Orange Cassidy's gonna win, and this is maybe when we do see the heel turn. Maybe he wins and then starts going off on him, and Chuck comes out and tries to stop him, and then Orange punches him as well. Mm-hmm. Because we haven't seen Chuck since the street match, and he's retired from wrestling.
Can't wrestle anymore. Which might be true, might not be true.
They just say it as part of a promo. That's believable. I feel like, to me, if you're gonna do this whole Don Callis thing, it's interesting to see Orange Cassidy become a heel and just become somebody that just I'm trying to think. Sorry.
No, you're good.
No, but I'm all about have him, Orange Cassidy, come heel for a while, and then at some point, they're going to turn him babyface again. But I really, especially after him doing all the what is it? The
international championship.
International championship.
Yeah,
his whole run on that was fantastic. I think this is the best, interesting way to go with him is have him with the Don Callis family.
All right, Pluggo, you got to break which side you want? He's got OC. I got Trent. I'm kind of leaning where Scott is here, that it could be a swerve and Callis actually just goes with Trent and Trent goes with Callis. I think that could happen.
That could work too.
Because OC is just so over, but I do kind of want to see what Orange Cassidy looks like as a heel, how that character works as a bad guy.
Instead of him being freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, he'll be high pulp Orange Cassidy as a heel.
Something. I just would like to see how they would do the
what is the most heelish orange? Blood orange.
Yeah. Blood orange.
What orange juice is the most heelish? High pulp, medium pulp.
It's just intriguing because I view Orange Cassidy, and to me, I'm like, that guy will never be a bad guy. But
you're from Florida. You know about the orange juice and all that down there. You're the one that would know.
Yeah. From concentrate or something like that.
From concentrate, Orange Cassidy,
or sun-kissed version of.
There you go. Heck
yeah! What do you think's happening, Pluggo?
I hate these kind of man. I love the story, but I hate the idea of we're heating Trent up, nasty heel, and in the first match he's gonna take an L to Orange Cassidy. Don't get me wrong, Orange Cassidy's huge. Orange Cassidy's the man. I get it. It's not a bad thing. I think this is a story that there's still some more to tell. I feel like there's just, and the Don Callis thing, it's one of those pairings that I'm like, I would have never in a million years wanted it, but now I only want it because I want to know about it.
Exactly.
I don't know how you turn Orange Cassidy heel. I don't know how you do it.
That's why it's intriguing.
Don't get me wrong, you could do it.
Yeah. I mean, look at Huggy Bear in the chat is saying, look what he did, what Don Callis did with Kenny Omega. So
true. Yeah. But we at least saw some heel Kenny Omega in other things.
But I think if you align yourself with Don Callis, you're automatically right?
If you even
So,
post that you like Don Callis, I think you're a bad person.
Like Don Callis is one of the few people in that company. I think the Young Bucks are at that status right now with what they're doing. But one of the few people that he comes out of that tunnel and it's vitriol. The crowd, nobody in that crowd is happy to see him. Even the commentators.
Dude, I get bummed when he's on.
We got to deal with Don
like,
Callis. But even the commentators leaning into that is what makes it great because they're like, we're unfortunately joined by Don Callis. Like they're so like, why do we have to do this?
I'm gonna take Trent.
Okay. All right.
Only because Sue's his mom.
Okay, fair. We're gonna see Sue when we end the show.
We'll see Sue at the end.
Alex will be able to see Sue for the first time. It's usually a hoot.
She's our outro.
She is our outro. Sue is our outro, yelling at us.
I don't love it. I don't love it though.
We have a triple threat match for the, as Jericho called it, for the world. That's not what I originally meant. The FTW championship. It is Chris Jericho the champion.
I need one of my kids to do a fart noise, man.
Versus Katsuyori Shibata. This was turned into, we had the triple threat on Dynamite last night. The winner was supposed to face Jericho. We had a double submission victory from Hook and Shibata. So it is now a triple threat match, which I obviously think will come into play and help Chris Jericho retain the FTW title. Pluggo, I know you're a Hook stan, brother. You got Hook. You wanted Hook to not be involved. How does this go?
I just didn't want Hook near Chris Jericho at all because I don't want.
Here's the thing.
I don't want his coolness factor wearing off.
I'm going to say this. I've said it on firmly. I'm going to say this. When this whole thing was starting, I was part of the crew that was like, "All right, Jericho, you need to take a break and you need to get off my TV screen." And there are still people that feel that way, and that is your right to feel that way. Jericho, since he's leaned into the shit here these last 2 or 3 weeks. Just showing you why he's one of the greatest of all time. Just showing you why he's one of the GOATs, whether you like him personally or not. And I'm not even sure that I like him personally. This dude is unreal. And he's turned this gimmick that everybody was sick and tired of and wanted nothing to do with into something that the crowd is like ironically clapping for now and stuff like that because he's leaning into it.
Don't get me wrong. He's good. I get it.
Screening time. I love my screen time. And he's just, it's just there, man. And he's won me over. He's won me over with this shtick, Jericho. But Pluggo, you are the Hook guy. I will let you pick first. What's going on in this triple threat?
You know I'm picking Hook.
I know you're picking Hook, but do you
I
feel
Hook
good
against
about
my
that
own
pick?
mother. I don't care.
Do you feel good about that pick?
I don't feel good about it, but that's what I want with my heart. I pick
Hook
with
against
this.
Your own mother.
I pick Hook against my own mother.
Oh
no. You're right. What you're saying is absolutely right. Like he's leaning into it, and I've said it as much as I didn't want the Hook into this whole mix. And Jericho, this probably is a great next step for him. He's probably he is figuring it out. He is growing the tree, but I still do think that they lean a little too heavy on some of the Jericho stuff. And we've seen it though in his AEW run. Like he's not really elevated anybody in these groups that he's been in, unfortunately. So that's where I didn't want Hook to fall under this learning tree. It's too early. If I'm being completely honest, I guess Jericho wins, but I'm going to pick Hook because that's my guy. And I always pick Hook. Okay. I ride or die with Hook, but it's too early to pull that thing off of him. There's still more to this learning tree. He's got to have somebody coming out, right? There's got to be another. Well, he's got to have more than just Big Bill, right?
Do we think that maybe somebody in this match could potentially? I don't know.
Would you want Alex? Would you want Shibata under the Jericho learning tree?
No. That would be that would be wild though. Wouldn't it?
So with that, it's just Hook would be.
I think. What about Hook?
I would quit the show.
You better know.
I will quit the show if Hook is willingly under the Chris Jericho learning tree.
Okay. Well, then I'm not rooting for that, obviously. But I'll let Alex go. What do you think's happening, Alex?
Alex has a beard. He gets slotted next week.
So something's like you saying that kind of like idea cooked. So I think Jericho's going to win because this whole thing is not going to end. yet because I feel like they did this early on with like Jungle Boy and Hook, like at All In last year, like, and it was too fast to me. It was like you started this feud and like 2 weeks later it's over. So I feel like personally, have Hook lose and then Hook finally gives in, and the plan the whole time for Hook is he's like, I'm going to dismantle this whole thing eventually. Like, I'm going to make him think Jericho, get comfortable with me, and then
share a bag of chips.
Yeah, share a bag of chips or two, and then he's gonna turn on Jericho. I really feel like that would be the smart money for his character, at least.
We got Huggy Bear saying we should have a run-in/return with someone from a former group. So what, like maybe a Sammy Guevara? He aligns with Jericho again for what feels like the fifth time.
For entertainment purposes only. I'm not actually going to quit the show.
Okay, fair enough.
Now that Alex said it like that, if it happens, I can't be here next week. That's going to suck. So we'll have to come up
be a one-man show.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with a different stipulation for me. It's my baby.
Yeah, but I think Jericho's something's going to go down. Either we do see somebody, a new person, or a return come and help Jericho, and then Jericho has another guy with Big Bill, something like that, or there is some sort of chicanery in
just
the
rapid
match or
fire.
something.
Rapid fire. Who's sitting backstage right now that's not doing nothing that you'd be like, yep, that would make sense for the learning tree? And you can't say Sammy Guevara because we've done that 50 times.
Oh boy, I'm trying to think of the groups Jericho's been in. I mean, what about Jake Hager?
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
You'd have him and Big Bill. Those are two big boys.
Yeah,
those two big boys to have with him. Jake Hager's not doing anything. Guevara's had a kid and he hasn't been around. Again, who else is? Yeah, because obviously, I mean, you could do Ortiz. He's still there. Danhausen, that would be different. Daniel Garcia, I kind of like what they're doing with Garcia as a babyface, kind of what he's doing, but that wouldn't be bad. I would like Daniel. I feel the same way about I feel the way about Daniel Garcia that Pluggo does about Hook. Like, just let Daniel Garcia be Daniel Garcia over here. We don't gotta get him bogged down. He's doing good stuff. But I could see like a Jake Hager. I could see a Sammy Guevara returning. I do think Danhausen could be fun. I think that could be fun, presented in a certain way. I know Danhausen wants to be used, and AEW just isn't using him for whatever reason.
I don't know why.
Me neither. The dude's over as hell. But there you go. Danhausen. I don't know why they're not using him, but
I'm regretting not buying the Danhausen figure when I saw it. I like passed it and then somebody scooped it. I was like, oh shit, I should have bought that.
But we will have to see how
that. The Danhausen's been posting that he's free. He doesn't answer to no one. I don't know if that's just him stirring the pot but I just don't know who's, because the learning tree to me is somebody that's not getting used that maybe has something to learn from Jericho. So I just don't know. But at the end of the day, if Hook joins this damn thing, I'm going to be.
Well, they do if he does it the way Alex said, though, where he does it, but it's not real. It's kind of like I know. I don't even want him to. I don't even want him to get in there. You know how it happens, right? You're undercover and you're trying to be one of the good guys, and you start to do a little bad. And then all of a sudden you're like, I like this lifestyle. Yeah,
you start getting a little of the too much of the bubbly.
Yeah, you're just like all of a sudden you're like, this ain't bad hanging out. And then all of a sudden Hook is coming out in singing Judas, and I'm just crying in a corner, sad. And my wife is like, get over it. It's a wrestling show, and I'm like, it's still real to me. Damn it. Anyway.
All right.
So we all got. So who do we got? Because I got
Hook. Me and Alex have Jericho retaining.
I got Hook.
You said you think Jericho's going to win, but you're not.
I think he's the win, but I'm not picking him against my boy. That's
fair. I appreciate the loyalty.
I'm loyal.
We have a trios match that was just booked last night on Dynamite. A trios match for the AEW, or actually, I should say the unified AEW Trios Championships. It will be the Bang Bang Gang, Jay White and the Guns, going against the returning back together Death Triangle. Penta, Ray Phoenix,
so
and
good.
Pac. I thought
Ray
that
Phoenix.
Was awesome last night. with the Pac interview. They were a team on that cruise. That is true. I love the Pac interview in the back, and then the entrance with Death Triangle. This match being thrown together, this match is going to rule on Saturday. I love Death Triangle. However, I do think the Bullet Club retains, as I will slide over to plug up.
The Bang Bang Gang.
The Bang Bang. Sorry. The Bang Bang
Come on,
Gang.
man. Put
My
some
bad.
respect. They've won me
My
over.
bad. Oh, they're great.
I was not feeling it early on. I really
they
wasn't.
are great.
They're cooking
And
now, though.
I think Scott, I see your comment saying Jay White needs to get out on his own. I don't disagree, but I think right now the main event picture and the singles picture is kind of full. And I have no problem with Jay White being a menace, running this group, being trios champions, beating people up, cutting promos. This is a good little role for him for a few months or 6 months or whatever until they're ready to go. Okay, Jay, now we're doing this with you. I got no problem with it. I think they retain. I'll go with you first, and we'll let Alex finish this one up before we continue. But do you agree? Do you think?
Yeah.
I'm so happy Death Triangle's back. I love all three of those guys. Specifically, Phoenix is one of my favorite wrestlers on earth. So I'm glad they're back. I love them as a group, but I just think the Bang Bang Gang, like you said, they got something going here with these three, and Juice hopefully is coming back at some point. I think they should continue to win and kind of just keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah. I'm right there too. Like, I think the ultimate end game is Jay White, Pac. What better way to get to that singles one-on-one match than to have the Bang 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 get over on Death Triangle, keep it going, to keep Pac festering. Because if they win, right? Oh, we got him.
Yep.
But that's not the story they're telling. So yeah, I'm going Bang Bang Gang to get it done here.
Hell yeah, Alex, how are you feeling?
I think, I think Bullet Club Gold wins. It's because to give him the titles and then have him lose them this quickly would be, to me, is ridiculous. But also, like, I think you were saying, like, it solidifies them more because, honestly, like, as much as I love the Acclaimed and as good as they can be in the ring, like, they're still kind of seen as like the jokester guys. So, like, to have it against an actual like Pac and and Phoenix and Penta, like, this match is going to be insane.
This is a great opener. This would be a great opener to the main card if they want. Man, this is going to be so. This
is going to be the match that these guys do, and they're going to go in the back and be like, "Okay, top that." Like, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be fantastic. But yeah, and I love Bane. Like, I love everything that Jay White and the Guns have been doing together, and I miss Juice too. Like, get him back in the mix. Like, all the stuff they did backstage, they've been doing backstage prior to like doing this whole build to what they've become has been fantastic. And the Guns, man, like, they're fantastic. They're great. Like, they've been really shining. Right? They've been really, like, Austin, like, in the ring, forget about that guy. When he did, he was like part of a tournament or something. I can't remember what it was. They were all like, it was like a singles match, but he was in a singles match, but not. It was like a bunch of people in the ring at once. I can't remember he was in that match and he was shining with all these other guys. And I was like, holy shit. Like, wow, seeing him like really go in the ring, not and having the time to go was fantastic. But anyways, Bang Bang Gang all the way for me.
All right. Yeah, no, they've won me over in that sense. Like you said, I think you nailed it on the head. I think all the pieces together at first, you look at it and you go, Jay White, it's Jay White. Like, this is New Japan, right. Jay White doing this kind of goof shit, and then it evolved into like they're still doing the goofy stuff, but in this like really snarky heelish way where you're like,
right,
like when they were holding Pac, and I was
like,
Jesus, that's so good. So I'm with you there. That's all. It's too early. Let them keep cooking, as they say. Let it cook.
Mm-hmm. Let it cook, brother. All right, we have a singles matchup for the AEW International Championship. This has maybe been my favorite build of the whole thing that AEW has been doing here. It is Will Ospreay challenging the champion, Roderick Strong. I've loved this whole thing. Will Ospreay, man.
Yeah.
I knew he was one of the best wrestlers in the world, or I've said it a bunch, so sorry for repeating, but he has shocked me with how good of a babyface promo he is. Like, I did not know he was as total a package as he is. I knew he was a great wrestler, but I did not know he could talk as good as he does. And I did not know he could be like kind of a white meat babyface as good as he is. This guy is already at the top of the company for me, like from a talent, like it is wild. And the crowd, they've adored him since the moment he stepped foot in AEW, and he is a super duper star to me. He's got to win it, right? He's got to win it.
Yeah.
You think, Alex? I'll let you go first, but yeah, this is Will Ospreay all day.
Yeah.
I love Roddy. Like, I was actually at the Dynamite he came out at. Like,
nice.
It was in Florida, and it was at the where the Panthers play. And he came out, and like my wife didn't know who he was, but like I would, like she saw the crowd going wild, and she looked over at me, and I'm standing up, and I'm going, "Rod, hey!" like screaming at the top of my lungs. And but yeah, like I love Roddy. I really love that he's been able to like show a different side of him, more of a personality, and AEW as well, because he's got it in the ring, and I really feel like just the disconnect was like him as a personality outside of the ring, But this match is going to be a banger. It's going to be insane. But it would be insane to have Ospreay lose this match. I'm sorry, like you got to put some type of title on Ospreay, and it can't be the big one yet. So let's give him this one.
Yeah,
and it makes sense too.
It's plain as this match is gonna. I would be shocked if this match wasn't great. Right?
Oh. Yeah.
Like I know, he's been putting on 5-star bangers every month. And I don't think it's going to be any different in the month of May.
No.
I am interested how it ends. You do have the Undisputed Kingdom in the mix. They might get involved. You do still have Ospreay does still have ties to the Don Callis family a little bit. He's kind of distancing himself, but he's still there. I agree. I think if you don't put it on Ospreay, then what do you do? Like, how do you make it make sense? That would be his first loss in AEW.
Yeah.
I think it would let a lot of air out of that building because that's where we're sitting. Like if you paying Ospreay $4 million a year or whatever, and you're not going to put the international title on him, I think it would be a mistake. So I'm going to go with Ospreay here.
Yeah, I'm leaning Ospreay here too, just because it feels like you gotta put something on.
Why not?
He's a top guy for you immediately,
and then he can take the thing, and do it internationally
if he wants, because we know the New Japan ties, and he's from England and all that. He could do all that thing. However, you mentioned the Undisputed Kingdom.
I did.
No. I'm picking him. But last time we saw Adam Cole, he was walking down to that ring. Adam, I don't know how healthy he is and whatnot, but Adam Cole versus Will Ospreay is definitely a match I would be very much interested in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were going to try to find a way to keep that belt with the Undisputed Kingdom, maybe if he's healthy enough, maybe we see an Adam Cole get involved, and I don't know. But again, I don't think that happens. No, I'm just saying he helps Roddy win.
Yeah,
and then you kind of build to an Adam Cole Will Ospreay big time match. But at the end of the day, I think it's a no-brainer.
I would also say, and if we're being completely honest, AEW does kind of lean on that like beat down trope and that gang up trope quite a bit. I feel like this would be one of those matches where like don't do too much because the match is going to rule.
Right.
Like let it happen. Let these two just go out for 20 minutes and just cook and try to limit the outside interference to take away from what I think will be one of the matches of the night. But that's just me. It's the thoughts.
I'm good with it.
Will it actually happen? Wardlow's too damn good looking to not get on that screen. I'm just saying he'll figure out a way.
My wife loves him, so
oh yeah.
Not surprised.
Not surprised at all.
Wardlow is a fan. The ladies love him.
Yes, they do for good reason. We have ourselves an IWGP World Heavyweight Championship Eliminator match. This is the match that I want to open the show because I think this match, if I had to pick right now what will be the match of the night, I think this one is right near the top of my list. This match is going to be beautifully brutal. if I can put it in a word.
Mhm.
It is the champ. Well, I mean, the championship is not on the line. However, if Konosuke Takeshita defeats Jon Moxley, it then will be. I don't know how they're going to do it. I assume with the Callis family. But to me, I think this sets up Takeshita winning. So then he fights for that title at Forbidden Door. I think that's what they're going to do. Because I think that the title match, the New Japan IWGP title, should be on the line at Forbidden Door. And I think Takeshita's the guy that should be fighting Moxley for it. But in order for him to do so, he needs to find a way to win this match.
Okay.
So I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't. But Takeshi's also a guy that's beat Kenny Omega twice on TV. Like, it wouldn't shock me if they just had a banger of a match and he just beat him.
Yeah.
He just beat him because Takeshita is that good.
He's
I'm picking Takeshita because I think that's how they do it. But I really don't. I'm excited because I don't know how they get there. But that's my pick. Alex, I'll send it down to you because I saw you doing this when I started mentioning it. So I would take it you're looking forward to this match as well.
Oh, of course. So
He's like, actually, this
match is trash. The one I don't want to talk about.
No, Moxley is my favorite wrestler right now. Like, and has been for a while. Like, he's just like, I loved him, you know, in the Shield as Dean Ambrose and stuff, but you knew there was more to him because I didn't see his indie stuff, you know, I'll admit to all that. And seeing him in AEW was like, yes, this is my guy. I'm a Moxley ride or die guy. Like, and like, there are people that I root for, you know, like I remember, like I wanted Swerve to like it, like whatever that tournament was for like last year. I can't remember the name of it right now, but
Continental Classic.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he went against Moxley, and my wife's like, who you wouldn't want to win? I was like, Moxley. She's like, but I thought you liked Swerve. I'm like, I love Swerve, but it's Mox. Like, I just love Moxley. Like, I always want Mox to win. So I do want Mox to win, but I think Takeshita will win just because it makes more sense for, like you said, for the future of, you know, title shots. And Takeshita, like, again, we don't like to use the word deserves, but he deserves to win. And like this guy, like the matches he's been putting on, like that match he did with Will Ospreay at the last pay-per-view.
Crazy.
Oh my God. Amazing.
Come on.
Amazing.
So this match is going to be insane.
Didn't he have one on a Dynamite not too long ago too? I'm trying to remember what it was. I was like, shit. I love Takeshi.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I asked this question to Tanner Lee of the Kicking Out Podcast. I texted him the other day and I said, has anybody actually won these championship eliminator matches? You know, like Swerve had one with Nick Wayne on Wednesday, and it's like Nick Wayne ain't beating Swerve. I don't enjoy this as a trope. I really, it's like if you're gonna keep abandoning the ranking systems, like if you're gonna do it, I'm going on a little bit of rabbit hole, but if you're gonna do it, just have your top 5, top 10 fight each other, and that's how you eliminate to the championship. So I don't. It would be a great coup for you know, Takeshita to beat Moxley and get and they mentioned last night that he'll get the championship match against whoever holds the IWGP.
Right. Well, and the reason why
is Mox has got a match, right?
Yeah. So Scott says Mox has to get past Evil first at Dominion in 2 weeks, which I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I am a regular New Japan watcher, but I know Evil is a former champion, but they would be dumb to have Evil beat Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
It would be dumb. And then Scott is actually predicting that it will be Evil versus Takeshita at Forbidden Door. But to me, okay, one of the things with Forbidden Door is the IWGP title has been defended both times at the Forbidden Door.
Right.
But it's never changed. None of the titles have ever changed hands at Forbidden Door.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you have Mox and Takeshita 2 at Forbidden Door, that's a good opportunity to give Takeshita the title and have a big title change hands at Forbidden Door, which again, the Forbidden Doors have ruled. I have no complaints about these events, but none of the main titles, when it's been AEW versus New Japan, they don't change hands.
Yeah.
And technically Mox and Takeshita are both AEW people, but this would be a way for a big title, a heavyweight, revered, respected title to actually change hands at this event. And I just think that's a way it could go. We'll be talking about that when we get there. But I think Takeshita wins this on Sunday because, like, yeah, the future, give him the rematch, whether it is against Evil or it is against Mox. Like, Takeshita, again, not deserved, but Takeshita's earned to have that world title match and probably win it in my eyes. He's that good. But either way, this match on Saturday is going to be unbelievable. Unbelievable with those two guys. All right, we have a singles match for the AEW Women's Championship match. It is Serena Deeb challenging timeless Toni Storm. Should be a great match with these two. Should be a great match. Alex, how have you felt about the build here? Because when it was first going to be Deeb, I was like, oh, dang. All right, cool. Deeb and Storm, like that match is going to rule. And I still think it's gonna. But I know some people have been kind of, I don't know if is Serena Deeb hitting with the audience as a babyface as much as you guys or AEW maybe was hoping. To me, it feels reversed. Like Deeb should be the heel and Toni Storm should be the babyface because nobody wants to boo Toni Storm.
Right.
She's amazing.
I think that's what the issue. I think the issue is like you're bringing in Toni Storm as the heel, and she's just so over that no matter who you put her against, they're going. And like if you're keeping Toni in at the heel, like character, like at this point I don't understand why they just haven't made her go babyface and just have like Serena Deeb go full on. Like Serena Deeb is we've seen is a fantastic heel, and this match is going to be just. I don't think people are going to really that don't know who Serena Deeb is really understand how good this match is going to be.
Oh yeah,
you know,
this is where the turn happens.
You think Toni? You think
Serena
loses?
Doing a
double turn?
Serena Deeb, your technician, your all business, loses to this entity that is Toni Storm. If you want to call her a comedy gimmick, go ahead. Just for the sake of the argument, I don't think that's what she is. But and she loses the match. She comes up short, and she just loses her mind post match. Snaps. Beats her down, maybe because I think there's stuff here where you could run it back and maybe you switch it. Maybe this is where Toni Storm, she gets that sympathy. Deeb loses her mind. Deeb's now a heel. I could see that as the way this goes.
I wouldn't be against it.
Because it's super hard to it's super hard if you're trying to present Toni Storm. You just can't. You can't boo her. She's so good. She's saying the most outlandish shit. You're just like, this is amazing, and she's playing it so well. And Deeb she's just not a natural, it just doesn't feel like early on in the build, she was like, it just felt like, oh, hey, I haven't been in the spotlight in a while ago. I'm cooking. Now it's cooking, but it's because she's doing the stuff she did last night. Let's see her just go full heel on Sunday. Toni Storm retains.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not against it. I think Toni Storm is retaining here. I don't think the title has a chance to move. But I think, the quality of this match is going to be right up there with the best matches we see on the night. These two are two of the best women's wrestlers, just two of the best wrestlers, but two of the best women's wrestlers in the world. So this should be excellent. All right, we're down to our triple main event, fellas. We got the triple main event. Let's start it with the other women's championship match of the evening. It will finally be the in-ring debut of Mercedes Moné, as she will be going up against the champion, Willow Nightingale. I thought the contract signing they had was a real good piece of business. I thought Willow shined in that contract, that line at the end where last time we fought, I walked out as champion and you didn't walk out at all. I thought that was a great line. And then the power bomb through. Very, very good segment. With that being said, Mercedes is, come on. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll let you go first, but I assume all three of us will be in agreement. There is no way that Mercedes Moné does not win this championship and win this match, right? There's no way. I love Willow as much as the next person because she is fantastic and she is great, but there is no effing way that Mercedes Moné does not leave with this title. No way. Pluggo. Come on.
What do you want me to do?
No,
break this down analytically. I
mean, you could.
She's getting paid $10 million a year The criticism is that you haven't.
Real?
The criticism is that you didn't put her in the main women's title picture. You put her in the lesser title. So if she doesn't win this thing, I don't know. I just, you're right. I don't know. I got nothing. Okay, it's Mercedes. If it's not Mercedes, I don't know. Yeah. I got nothing. Crazy.
I actually think this match.
I love Willow Nightingale. She's fantastic, though. She's the best.
I personally think this match will open the show because I think the first person you should see come out of that tunnel on the Double or Nothing main card is Mercedes Moné. I think she's the first person you should see coming out. And it's like, okay, in my opinion, the biggest signing in the history of the company. Yeah. Truly. And I think she should be the first person we see because this is basically like their SummerSlam WrestleMania. It's their 1 or 1A pay-per-view. It's the 5-year anniversary of the first ever show they had.
Right. Way to disparage my guy Marco's stunt, dude.
Sorry, bro. But Mercedes Moné, in my opinion, is the biggest. Every week he does it. He finds a way to mention this fuck. And I like Marcos. He finds a way every week, Alex, to friggin' mention Marcos somewhere.
He almost made it on The Voice, you know.
Yeah.
So why not mention him?
155 episodes. I've probably mentioned him at least 152 of them.
I would say every week. Oh, who do you think's going to get involved? Marco Stone. Okay. Right. But anyway, Alex, you're in agreement with all. We're all in agreement. Yeah, right? There's no way.
They're like, it's almost like just do the finger poke of doom at this point for the the title. You know,
actually, when you
would like to just watch the world burn. If
that is something I've also been wanting for a long time, is a finger poke of doom. And if your theories are correct with Hook and Jericho, that's the perfect opportunity to do it. Jericho just pokes Hook, he drops, Jericho pins him. We all go home pissed.
We love it.
Oh my goodness.
All in all, though, I think this match again is going to be another one that just kicks ass.
Yeah,
just kicks all sorts of ass. Mercedes is going to have a point to prove, and Willow is one of the best. And I just think, do we think, real quick before we move on to the last two matches, do we think we see like? Because obviously, I know it's been a few weeks, but they both got attacked with the lights off. I think it's Chris Statlander.
Yeah,
Alex, we haven't had you on, obviously, before, so I don't know who you think it is if like that. But do we think we see like a Statlander or Stokely involvement here? Do we think maybe it happens after the match, or do we think it's just?
I think it'll be my. I don't know. AEW is weird, so you never know when they're gonna reveal something. I feel like the smart money is to just do it after.
Yeah.
Or, you know, have Mercedes win, the lights go off, and then that's when Statlander shows up and reveals herself, you know?
Yeah. Because I do think
we take the title next, you know?
Yeah, because I do think we will. I think we will get that Mercedes Statlander match.
That match is going to be fantastic.
Oh, my God. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. All right. We then have Anarchy in the Arena. So this one has had some. This is going to be all right.
There's going to be a flamethrower.
Potentially.
Yes.
Remember when Eddie was in the match?
Well, I was going to say this has had some changes. Obviously, Eddie Kingston was one of the original members on Team AEW. He unfortunately blew out his knee at the New Japan show in the attack. So he has been replaced. Yeah. So it is the Elite, which will be Kazuchika Okada, Jack Perry, and the Young Bucks going against Bryan Danielson, Darby Allin, and FTR. Anarchy in the Arena. The Elite have been running roughshod on AEW. They took out the boss. They've been beating people up, paying people off to beat other people up. They have been running the show. But as we saw last night and we talked about towards the beginning of this, Tony Khan came back with Darby Allin and a flamethrower, which tells me...
You got to say it with the fucking flamethrower!
There we go.
Put some respect on the flamethrower, dude.
All right. These Anarchy... This is, I believe, going to be the third Anarchy in the Arena match. The previous two ruled. Yeah. This should be no different. Alex, I'll let you lead. Do we think the Elite... What are you thinking? Where are you? Where do you align? Team Elite or Team AEW?
I'm really honestly, I love everybody involved. I know it's just I hope everyone has fun kind of answer. But
I like that. Yep.
But it's to me, the Elite have to win. Like, you can't just squash them out just yet. And I'm absolutely I'm loving what the Bucks are doing right now.
Oh, it's the best,
with
my
this.
favorite
And, like,
version of them ever.
Yeah. And Jack coming back is the perfect, like, seeing him come back and just doing the things he's doing, like, everything he's doing on the mic, like, he's so much more comfortable now, like, than he was before with what, when they turned him heel before. So I really feel like, it's going to be a fantastic match. But yeah, I think the Team Elite is going to win this, and I feel like this is maybe go out to the big finish will be like All In or something. I'm not really sure where this is going to lead.
Maybe we get Blood and Guts down the line or something like that.
Blood and Guts
do that
too.
I don't disagree, Scott. I do think if the Elite is going to win, Jack Perry, I feel like, should be the guy
that'd be great,
gets the victory, because the other three have belts. And you mentioned how Jack Perry's been great. I mean, I didn't expect Okada to turn heel right away when he got to AEW either. Right. And they done it, and he has been so good. Amazing. I never, just him being a heel, and I know he probably has been a heel multiple times in New Japan, probably. I know, but like, it wasn't something I thought we were going to see, but he's been absolutely killing it. This version of the Elite is fantastic. It's just
A+.
Chef's kiss. Yeah, it's fantastic. I have them winning as well. Pluggo, are you Team Elite or are you Team AEW? What do you think? You think Darby Allin's gonna the fucking flamethrower and gonna win?
Showing up. This show is definitely getting demonetized because of my.
No, we're good. What?
I am Team Elite, and this is why. This storyline only works if you get to an absolute, like, almost WCW NWO where they were taking over the show and renaming it levels. Like, you have to, like, they have to become like the dirtiest heels and just completely derail things for it to work. And if you go into this Anarchy in the Arena and you take the legs right out from under them as they're starting to really cook this thing, it would just, so we wasted all of that build that we had with the Punk stuff. Jack Perry's back at a fever pitch, like, he's hotter than ever, like, and then, like, pinning a Bryan Danielson, Jack Perry, like, that would just be like some nuclear stuff, and then you just keep it going. So you got to keep this thing going. Tony's got to get to, like, his wit's end with it. Darby's going to do some crazy stuff, that's happening. I fear for that man. I don't know how he does it. Dude's getting hit by buses and showing up with.
I saw an interview that he said where, like, his nose is still to the point where, like, if it gets hit the wrong way, it can just.
Yeah, he's not 100%.
He's not, like, his nose is still like. I'm just like, what the?
The only thing I think about in this match is there's somebody on Team AEW that would turn heel. Because I think it's the Elite
and go with the Elite. Or maybe, do you think the Elite, maybe we have a new member of the Elite that shows up here at some point?
I don't know.
I don't know. Something can go on because,
there's still so much meat on this bone.
Because you still have the Kenny Omega thing for whenever he comes back and he's healthy in a few months. Hangman we haven't seen, and they suspended him. They didn't fire him like Omega, but they kicked him out of they suspended him. He still needs to come back, and he's kind of in it. I thought Hangman might have been somebody that, if he was ready to come back, would have been the guy to replace Kingston, but obviously Darby.
I didn't have Darby Allin on my bingo card.
I did not either. I thought he would be incapacitated. Dude just got hit by a fucking bus.
If I got hit by a bus, I would still be talking about it.
If I got hit by a bus, I'm never working again, bro, because I'm getting that bus. That bus is paying my ass for the rest of my life. But anyway, all right, we are at our main event. It will be a singles match for the AEW World's Championship. It will be Swerve Strickland going one-on-one with the returning Prince Nana, by the way, who came back last night, which was awesome. Going up against Christian Cage, who we assume will be accompanied by the Patriarchy. I've liked the build to this too. Christian just being that dastardly asshole that he is, and Swerve, the babyface, the babyface champion. His boys turned on him. He's kind of turned into this. The Nana moment from last night was excellent with him coming back. I think Christian's the perfect opponent for this type of thing. I don't see Swerve losing. I think he keeps the belt, but Christian is believable. Christian will do whatever. The thing that I've liked about this really is because Swerve is turning into that kind of baby face, like that meat. I don't want to say obviously not white meat, but you know what I mean? That over the top baby face he's turning into.
Yeah.
But Christian and the way that Christian is and his evilness is still bringing out, because let's face it, up until a couple months ago, Swerve was the most dastardly dude on the roster, breaking into houses, talking to babies in cribs, doing all this stuff to the point where Hangman drank his fucking blood.
Yeah.
That's how much Hangman hated him. And now he's this good boy, he's this good guy, but Christian being who he is bringing that out of Swerve, and Swerve being like, hey, I don't know if you guys remember, but like, I still am that guy. And he's doing stuff like that. So I've liked that part of it. But Alex, you are the guest. I'm going to let you lead on this main event. Talk about the build, how you felt about the Christian Cage build, and do you who you think's coming out as the AEW World Champion?
I mean, I feel like it's using the past history between Christian and Swerve, and of course Nick and Swerve as well. Like, using all that was fantastic, and just Christian coming out and not even like, I want to say it just started with a beatdown. Like, he came out and didn't really say anything. It was just like it started with a beatdown, and then everything they've been doing is just, I feel like up until this past week, Swerve hasn't thought he could have a leg up on Christian at some point, but every time he thought he did, he had it swept from under him. And they took out Nana, and then his boys took him, his own crew took him out. So it's just, he's had everything thrown at him that he could. And in this match is going to be interesting. I feel like we're going to see some wood exposed on the ring at some point. For this
that'd
match.
Be nice.
I feel like Christian's going to.
Yeah, Lou has made his presence. He's like, "You're almost over. Let me hop on here."
Yeah. It's like I work from home and my dog knows like when about the time we're done, and he's like up and next to me. He's like, "We're done, right? We're done."
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah. So, but yeah, I think Swerve is gonna. This is gonna be a big hill for him to climb, and he's gonna win in the end. Like, that's what we're gonna have. I'm not sure what's next for Swerve. I know certain person has not come back yet, and
I thought that was going to be the main event of this show originally, but then they went with the Christian route, and I was like, okay. Yeah. But I think that's the match, right? That's the match is Swerve and Hangman one more time for the belt. Right?
Oh yeah, like
you know who gave us this match, right? Our EVPs.
That is true. That is true.
And Swerve and them have been having a bit of.
We got Dash. He's obviously like this. He said, "Can Swerve and Christian please feud for 7 or 8 month program, please? Is that too much to ask?"
That'd be great.
Hi, Dash. I'll see you Saturday.
I would be more than okay with this going for more than just a one-off.
Yeah,
I'd be perfectly.
But again, another Hangman. Those guys could have a forever feud. Like the chemistry they have in the ring is fantastic. But also, MJF is gonna be showing up at some point and want that title too. So we don't know.
Maybe he's next.
Could
you imagine Swerve and MJF at All In or something like that?
I would very much like that. Very much like that.
That would be. And then seeing MJF headline another All In, that would be fantastic as well.
Sure would.
Because he's sorely missed. I will say I do miss him. MJF.
Well, he's starting to be more noticeable on social media here. He's tweeted a few times. I think there is potential. Although Forbidden Door has now been moved from Arthur Ashe to Long Island. In the arena where MJF, we know how the Long Island people feel about him. So there's chance for him to return there. But I mean, I think they're going to do something big. I think there is going to be a big. I know we're getting the Mercedes Moné in ring debut, but I feel like we are going to get a big return somewhere, whether it is a Hangman or an MJF or Adam Cole. I feel like we're going to get something big. This
it's crazy. Besides
a card of this is going to be a great show. It's going to be a great show. I do think we're going to see something giant.
Something's going to happen. Yeah, but it's Swerve. Sure. It's Swerve all day. I mean,
I agree.
Come on.
I agree. I think it's Swerve. I don't think they take it off him for a while, let alone now. I would not be opposed to them stretching this out, though. But if Hangman's ready or MJF's ready, by all means, let's have some fun. And that, my friends, that is AEW Double or Nothing.
Yeah, we went a little over, but
went a little overtime, but we had to get through it. We had to get through all the events. It was a fun time. Alex, want to thank you for joining us tonight and kind of going a little overtime with us. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for flexible. Absolutely. Why don't you let the people know where they can find you on all your social media platforms and stuff like that, where they can check you out?
Well, you can find me under like the reason I'm on here because of the Wrestling and Coffe at Wrestling and Coffe on like Instagram and TikTok. Also come up with Alex, and I just started a podcast with the friend of that I met through TikTok with Justin, aka Dad Hat Wrestling. He's got his own the Championship Wreckage, his channel over there, and it's us talking about being dad. So it's called Inside Outside Voice. We have the first episode up. That one's up as well. So, and we were just talking. Him and I were talking today about getting the next episode up. We're not doing a weekly show just yet. We're gonna feel it out. Do a couple and see how it goes.
Cool. Love it.
Very cool.
Love it.
I love that. I'm down for
plug up. Scott, I don't disagree. But who says Hangman has to? Who says Hangman has to whenever it happens?
Maybe it's what are they? God damn it! If he wins, he gets the chance.
Oh, an eliminator match.
Yeah,
an eliminator
championship eliminator match.
they love
throwback in the chat. We're finishing up throwback, but I hope you're having a good week too, my friend. I hope you're feeling better and you're getting better. Thank you for your support, my friend. Pluggo, why don't you do the damn thing? Let the people know where they can find you.
All right.
And where they can find
I'm going
us.
to try to do this. I'm going to try to do this professional in front of Alex. I don't want to screw this up. But you can find me at Pluggo _ on Twitter. You can find me at Pluggo on all other social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that fun stuff. You can find me this Saturday afternoon. I'll be hanging out with one of our Love Wrestling contributors, Omar, doing his podcast, talking about the week that was, probably some King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring stuff. Saturday night, 6 o'clock. For Exposure, Blair Pacheco and I of the Graymaker podcast doing our independent wrestling show with Dash and Boris, the voices of LPW, as we preview LPW 26, The Clothesline. That'll be next Friday, May 31st in Edmonton, Alberta. And then, of course, everything we got going on here at Between Two Beards, all of our upcoming guests, all the things we do on every social media platform. It's at B2 Beards. Real simple. Stay up to date with what we've got going on. We got some really cool things happening. And then you can find my writings on Love Wrestling CA. I got some get to know spotlight pieces up, and I will be writing the LPW 31 preview that I did not, or 26 preview. I'll be writing that. That'll be out next week.
Love it. Pluggo does way more stuff than me. He does way more stuff than me. But you can follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms, including Twitch, where we have been playing the hell out of MLB The Show and all other games over there during the day and stuff. It's always a fun time. Pluggo said everything you need to know about us here, Thursday nights, 8 p.m. every time. The flagship show here at Love Wrestling.
That's
Between
right.
Two Beards. And on Sunday mornings, me and Drew usually chopping it up, all things AEW on Firmly AEW. Be on the lookout at our socials. Drew is unavailable this Sunday, so we're going to record an AEW Double or Nothing previews with us for Firmly, and we're going to run it, I believe, Sunday afternoon after brunch to kind of lead into the pre-show of Double or Nothing. So that should be fun. So be on the lookout for that. Other than that, before we're going to get into Sue on our way out of here. Before we got our buddy, Lumberjack Larry Woods. He's going to have a new weekly segment on our show called Chopping It Up with Lumberjack Larry Woods.
30 seconds with Larry, dude.
It's going to be a little 25 to 60-second clip. So just a day in the life, really, of our Love Pro Wrestling World Champion, Lumberjack Larry Woods. So he sent his first video for us. So we're going to play that, and then we're going to go into the outro of Sue. Alex, you are always welcome, man. Open door policy. You were great tonight.
You guys for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sticking around for a long one.
I know.
You are always welcome, him. Whenever you want to shoot the shit, you just hit us a message or we'll shoot you a message. You're welcome anytime, my friend.
Forbidden door is wide open.
Always. Always. So we're going to get out of here, gang. You're going to see Larry for about 20, 25 seconds, and then you'll see Sue, and then we'll see you all next week. Enjoy the holiday weekend. Enjoy the wrestling weekend.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, everyone.
Yes. Oh, and today was Bray Wyatt's birthday, so rest in peace and happy belated birthday. Not belated, but happy birthday to Bray Wyatt. They did an Uncle Uncle Howdy thing tonight, I think, as well on
they
their Twitch again. They counter programmed us. They're fearing us a little bit. They're like, who are these Beards guys? But yes, happy birthday to Bray Wyatt. All right, let's see Larry. Let's see Sue. Alex, thank you again, my friends.
Thank you.
You guys know
so
the
much.
drill. Until next week, peace out.
Oh, yo, boys. So we got the Oilers game tonight. Work is done. It's like, let's go. Like, what a long freaking day. We're done. Let's go watch some Oilers. Like,
What the hell do you think you're going? We got overtime, bud.
fuck!
Hey there, Plugo and JPJ. It's Trent's mom, Sue, and I have a bone to pick with you. So, I understand that you guys are being real idiots and spending your entire monthly budget. You've got to be kidding me. This is not the way to be when you're trying to run a business. Your boss, Spencer, is really pissed off at you. I'm pissed off at you. You have some nerve. Get a grip. You have to control yourself. You can't just go out and spend all the money that you're making, you two beards guys. Oh no, this is coming out so stupid. Anyway, behave yourselves, or I'm going to cut you off from watching AEW. You're no longer going to get to know, be able to meet my son. What? Or me. I'm sorry, this is like, I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for being fans. Watch yourselves. Knock it off.